We're back, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this afternoon. So, the morning session of the YSL trial was abruptly stopped. I have no fully don't know exactly what happened, but apparently there's some issue with the juror. And I haven't seen anything definitive or from somebody that trusted source. So at the current moment, we'll just go with something happened with the juror. Um, and from there, Judge Whitaker went ahead and put the kibosh on the rest, sent the jury home for some reason, and then told the lawyers that they need to be back at 2 o'clock p.m. So we are ready at 1:30. Now here's the catch 22 that she sent them away without instructions. So that's kind of weird. It's strange that Judge Whitaker sent them away without instructions. So that's going to be, it's got the spider senses going, right? But then also, the state they've been moving, they've been cooking. They had two witnesses up there, albeit the jury's out on whether or not they were really solid witnesses. So they had the 911 operator who gave a lot of information about shootings and such like that, and a woman who actually was a victim of a drive-by shooting that Antonio Sledge has spoken about. So, okay, we see the knitting together of that. But here's the tinfoil hat, if you will. The defense didn't ask any questions. So these interviews went really fast. These testimonies went super duper fast. And so what ends up happening? Apparently the state was about to call the next witness, but we had a restroom break, which took a little bit longer. Come back from the restroom break, and Judge Whitaker calls a kibosh. Call me, conspiracy theorist. Call me, wackadoodle. I'm thinking the state didn't have another witness. The defense knew that. They knew that this is me. This is me playing this all out in my mind. So this is what's happening in the YSL trial in my mind. I don't have facts, or what is it? Based upon information and belief. This is what I think happened. The state knew. They're like, you know what? They ain't got their witnesses ready. So let's do this. It's a 911 operator. We don't need to ask them any questions. It's a victim of a drive-by shooting. We don't need to ask her any questions. Let's let them go. Let them go. Let them go. And then, what would have been the third witness wasn't there. And I think then all of a sudden, some issues came about. Now, do I really believe that something probably happened with the juror? Probably so. Do I also really believe that DA Love did not have the next witness lined up? Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think those two things just converged right at the same time. And now we are here. So we not wasted, but 3 hours of the day were wasted. We're squandered. We're not used properly and whatever of that nature. And so now we're looking at, are they going to come back? What's going to be again, because she sent the jury home. So there is no jury for the rest of the day. So there's not going to be a jury trial. So she sent them on home. And now just the defense and the prosecution are here. I'm getting conspiracy theory. I'm getting conspiracy up in here. But I want to know what y'all think. What do you think? Grace and peace to everybody who stopped by. I love that Shuri is up in here. I bet you she not only had a good lunch, but I bet you Shuri has her homework done, unlike DA Love. Welcome back, Gordon. Good to see you as always. Jeanette's up in the building. Good to see you from New Hampshire. Absolutely. CMT 2013 SS. And that's a lot. We got to come up with a better name. CMT is in the building. Good to see you, friend. Good to see you. Good to see you. Love was not prepared for that. She wasn't prepared for the state to go ahead and, it's okay. We don't have any questions. No questions. I think that messed them up. What? Wait for it. Wait for it. Prosecution's not ready again. Conspiracy theorist. See, speaks, feels me. She feels what I'm saying. Love told there was a point. Love told there was a point of asking the lady about her kids' ages, etc. But did she ever make one, or was she weaving water again? Okay, I think Laura, thank you so much. That's a great question. If you weren't here, Love was asking the woman who was the gunshot victim. She was asking some questions that a lot of people were like, that doesn't make any sense. So she asked the woman the ages of her children. And of course, the defense said, objection, this is irrelevant, blah, blah, blah. And Love said there's a relevance to it. She never did explain it, but I think she was trying to get to the point that her children or her sons particularly are the ages of are this is what I think she was trying to do. I don't know this. So based upon information and belief, she was attempting to bring together that the woman's sons were the age of the suspects, the shooting suspects. That's what I think she was trying to do, but she never did bring it home. So I don't know what happened. Lauren, good to see you, love. Grace and peace. Good to see you. Good afternoon to you, Miss Knox. Good afternoon. All right. Innocent bystanders in the building. Good to see you. Grace and peace, friend, to you. Always got your homework done. Always make sure you have your homework done. Always have your homework done. I love it. Mama, two boys that knits. Good afternoon to you. So if you're just jumping in, trial was cut short because of something happened with the juror, and Judge Whitaker sent the jury home. There's rumors that somebody got in trouble for talking about the case, which I cannot substantiate. I'm looking on the dark web. I'm looking on the whisper net, and I don't see anything that substantiates that. So I don't want to spread rumors and such like that. But have no fear. The internet sleuths are going to pop in, and we'll know soon enough. Soon enough. But if you also missed this morning, we had some shenanigans and hijinks over here. So one of the things we were shenanigan about was one of our lovely commenters wrote some lyrics to a song, the song that never ends, and he remastered it as the trial that never ends. And another great contributor to the channel, we watch YouTube, made some beats for these and put it together into a song. Crazy, right? Did it all within an hour or so. Excellent, excellent, excellent content. So I actually have the videos. I made some videos while we were at lunch. So I did my homework as well. Not only did my students do their homework, not only did Law and Order NYC do their homework, not only did all my other apt pupils do their homework. Oh, by the way, my name is Jason. I'm a former classroom teacher. I live here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I like to give social and political commentary from a Christian male perspective. So that's why I make the joke about being in a classroom and doing homework and stuff, because I used to actually be a teacher. Now, the reason I bring that up is because I did my homework during lunch as well. I didn't have to have silent lunch. I didn't have to get in trouble. I did my homework. My classroom work is ready. So now we are going to check out these videos because they're going to drop at 1:30. I'm sorry, at 3:30. Please forgive me. I'm gonna drop them at 3:30, but I figured it would be fun for us to watch them together. So, matter of fact, I'm gonna drop the link in here so y'all can know as well. So before they get yeah, let me drop the link in here right now. All right, because we got a few minutes before the court starts anyway. Okay, so here's the playlist. It's called The Trial That Never Ends. I listed all of the songs. I did 3 of them. I didn't do all 5 because when we voted, I took the ones that we voted on. I made those the videos, and then I had to go run some errands during lunch. So let's pull this out of the way. And let's go ahead and check these out. Let's go. All right. Hopefully y'all will like them. I mean, they're not super creative. The songs are. I don't think my videos are super creative, but be a little gracious to your boy. Be a little gracious to him. Because it's buffering. Of course it's buffering. This is the trial that never ends, and it goes on and on, friends. Some people started bleeding out and bleeding just for love. But they continue doing it forever just because.
This is the trial that never ends, and it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started pleading out and pleading just for love, and they'll continue doing it forever just because. This is the trial that never ends, and it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started pleading out and pleading just for love, and they'll continue doing it forever just because. This is the trial that never ends, and it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started pleading out and pleading just for love, and they'll continue doing it forever just because. This is the trial that never ends, and it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started pleading out and pleading just for love, and they'll continue doing it forever just because. This is the trial that never ends, and it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started pleading out and pleading just for love, and they'll continue doing it forever just because. This is the trial that never ends, and it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started pleading out and pleading just for love, and they'll continue doing it forever just because. This is the trial that never ends, and it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started pleading out and pleading just for love, and they'll continue doing it forever just because. This is the trial that never ends, and it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started pleading out and pleading just for love, and they'll continue doing it forever just because.
Just because. This is the trial that never ends, and it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started pleading out and pleading just because, and they'll continue doing it forever just because. This is the trial that never ends, and it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started pleading out and pleading just because, and they'll continue doing it forever just because. This is the trial that never ends, and it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started pleading out and pleading just because, and they'll continue doing it forever just because. This is the trial that never ends, and it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started pleading out and pleading just because, and they'll continue doing it forever just because. Because.
And just like that, we're done. I thought you all would like that. So shout out again to We Watch YouTube. Now, Cathead, this is only done by We Watch YouTube. They're the only ones that did it. So they did all 5 songs, and I just added the little fast forward of the videos, the fast forward of the court as the quote unquote video in the background. But so no, that was it. So only we watch YouTube. And the link is down in the description, rather in the chat. I just dropped it in there if you want to see the playlist and see the songs. And of course, we watch YouTube, and um Texas Cali's information is in the description there as well. Uh I hear somebody has pulled in my driveway. I'm trying to in my garage, and I don't know why. Let's see. Hey, okay. Watch out, man. Don't do that to me, Matt. Don't do that. I'm with there's cops outside. Like up the house. All right. So we're gonna check real quick. There's nobody, the court has not started as of yet. So whoa. Court has not started as of this moment. So we're gonna let that be what it is. So yeah, absolutely. Thank y'all so much for that. So they are supposed to return, Agna. Thank you so much for asking. So they're supposed to return at 2 o'clock. And at the current moment, I'm looking on the WhisperNet. I don't see any reason why they would not. So, and when I mean by they, I mean the attorneys are returning at 2 o'clock, not the jury. So the jury got sent home at whatever is basically like 11, 10:30, 11 o'clock, which was super weird. And let's just be honest. I mean, the state was cooking. They were getting witnesses in and out, albeit I think the jury's out on whether or not they were really necessary. Do we really need somebody to read the 911 call to us? I don't know. But needless to say, we are back. So the jury got sent home. So now it is just the state and the prosecution that'll be here. At the current moment, nothing is on the screen. So they are not back in the building yet. Man, she didn't roll up on me, man. Didn't roll up on me, my guy. Okay, so following, great question, by the way, innocent bystander. Thank you so much for that. The It's only conjecture, it's only speculation. So been over here to the WhisperNet. Let me see. All right, where's Mr. Thugger Dele? All right, so Thugger here, right here, posted that. So if you're not following Thugger Daily on Twitter, please make sure you change that. Do that for the good of everybody. All right, you need to. Where is it? Okay, so here it is right here. And this is the tweet stream that I've been following just to see if anything pops off. Yeah, see, Law and Order in New York, you feeling me too. I think those are just fillers. I don't think those are real. So let's just hear what actually happened. And then, so this is when they came back from that extended lunch break. I mean, restroom stop. And let me pull this, make it bigger. All right, let's go. Let's hear what she said.
Get done, and we'll pick back up tomorrow with the jury again. So sorry about witnesses you may have had here, but just have them in the morning instead. Okay. All right. We'll be in recess till 2.
Okay, so just out of the blue.
We'll pick back up tomorrow with the jury again. So sorry about witnesses you may have had here, but just have them in the morning instead. Okay. All right. We'll be in recess till 2.
Okay, so I'm not gonna do that again. I'm not gonna play it again. So
Get done.
she doesn't really say. The audio is kind of dicey for some reason or another. Here, let me pull this in so we can look at and read it together. Okay, so and here's Thugger Daily. Let me grab Thugger Daily's Twitter handle and drop it in here for y'all as well. All right, definitely make sure you follow Thugger Daily. Does some great work over there. So what does they say? Some sort of juror issue. Audio was cut off for an explanation, so stand by for updates. But the judge has sent the jury home, and they are in recess for the next 3 hours back at 2 p.m. No more witnesses till tomorrow. All right, so there's that. And then so what I did was I clicked here, And lots of people are wondering, like, well, what happened? Blah, blah, blah. How much money is being wasted, no explanation, um, all that kind of stuff like that. But somebody said something that just seemed interesting. And it's this person right here. Again, there's no way to validate it. I'm waiting for it to be confirmed. But it says juror was discussing the case outside of court and a whistleblower called in. I, that's the only one that sounds like it. Everything else was just like conjecture, conjecture, conjecture. But that one right there just kind of stood out to me like, oh, maybe something about that. So, and of course, nobody has verified it. So take it with a mountain of salt, not just a grain of salt, but a mountain of salt. But who knows? Maybe somebody did get in trouble. I mean, it's been very clear that people have been contacting the court about stuff, whatever happened with the infamous Sylvia. That was somebody outside of the court contacting them, so on and so forth. And there's been other instances as well. So of course, and this trial has garnered attention around the world. So that's not necessarily the craziest thing I've heard today. If somebody said, hey, I heard the juror talking about this at the Starbucks, or I'm in the Bible study group with this and the juror was talking about it. That's not that's not the craziest thing I've heard. I'm not really saying that would be wrong, but that makes sense. Maybe that could have happened. So anyway, um, and you're caught up, and Kristen's caught up. Got your homework caught up. I absolutely love it. I love it. Let me see. With only 4 alternates left, what happens if they run out? If they run out, it would be as a innocent bystander said here. It would be a mistrial. They're gonna probably have somebody on life support before they let all the jurors get disqualified. At this stage of the game, at this point in the game, I've given up my hopes on mistrial because I don't think Judge Whitaker is going to do the right thing. Again, I'm sorry. I just don't think she's going to do the right thing. The right thing is she should have called a mistrial, or at very, very least, these men should have been given bond. They should have been given bond. Since they're not getting bond, she's not calling mistrial. I just gave up. Uh, I mean, I'll be pleasantly surprised if it happens, sure, but um, I'm not. I'm not holding out any more hope on that being the case at all. And let me see. I'm just looking to see if there's anybody else comment about it. Nobody else is saying anything about it that's solid. So I don't think that it's gonna be I don't think there's any it's gonna be just be people speculating. Let me say it like that. They should have gotten bond. At this point in the game, if somebody can get bond after uh pew pewing a a police officer and they can get bond, explaining why these people can't get bond. I don't understand. I don't get it. Yeah, it's a dumpster fire. It's a dumpster fire of cards. There you go. Uh, see, Medusa, I can't even put that on the screen because I don't want somebody to think that there's some shenanigans going on. But okay, that's a good question, though. I mean, I, I, I can't. I don't know what to say. I can't read it though. I can't read that. But I don't know. It was said one of the jurors was sick. Okay, but also like, just to add to the like. Uh, Conspiracy theorists of the discussion, notice that Judge Whitaker didn't give any admonishments or any instructions to to the jury. Yeah, just she just sent them home. She never even saw them again. She sent them out to go to the restroom at what was that about 10:35, 10:40, and then just sends them home from there. Didn't even speak to them again. Didn't give them the usual, don't go home. Don't go home reading this up on the internet. Don't ask friends about it. Don't talk about it. Especially if one of the jurors was talking about it, it would kind of make sense that you would tell people, again, let me double check. Let me really make sure y'all understand. Don't talk about this trial with anybody. That would make sense. But she didn't do that. She just sent them home. That's weird in light of the world that we're in right now. So it just seems odd. You just saying she forgot about it. Okay. Okay. That's very possible. Yeah. I, I, let me say it like this. I wouldn't be surprised. Hold on one second. There she is. What's up, homie? How are
Hey
you?
there.
How's it
What's
going?
going on with the jury?
Oh, no, nothing. Oh, sunshine and rainbows. Everything's hunky dory. Everything's fantastic. You do know what happened, right?
No, I haven't been listening for the last hour. What's going on?
Oh, wait. You know what happened this morning, though, right?
No,
Mandy,
no.
you didn't
I've
do.
just been in and out.
You ain't did your homework.
I have.
What your-
I'm
Everybody else
loving.
in the class has
I'm
done their
pulling the
homework.
love. I'm pulling the love.
Everybody else in this chat has done their homework.
What's
You
going
didn't do your
on?
homework.
Apparently not. What's going
All
on?
right. You know what?
Give me the tea.
We're gonna be gracious to you here. We're gonna be gracious.
What's going on?
So apparently, they were plowing through witnesses. They got through the
Right.
911 operator. They got through the woman that had gotten shot. Okay,
Right.
everything was cooking.
Yeah. Okay. Now I watched the woman who had gotten shot.
Right, but then the defense,
Her
oddly
wig
enough,
was very
defense
pretty.
never didn't want to interview these people. So the interviews went very fast. Testimonies went very fast, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna get our next witness, but we're gonna go to restroom break first." So they went to a restroom break. And then they come back, and it was a long restroom break. And Judge
Okay.
Whitaker says, something, I'm sending the jury home. We're going to recess until 2:00. And that was it. So we don't actually know what happened to the jury. So, I mean, on Thugger Daily and Joseph Papp, it's alluded to that something happened with the juror. But I was just mentioning
Oh.
that it is really interesting how she didn't. It happened too fast, as Zipper Jones says. It was entirely too fast.
Ooh,
So
ooh.
they never actually. She didn't admonish the jury again. You know, the usual juror instructions, especially if a juror. It was alluded that a juror was having conversation about the trial outside of the court, which of course most people
Oh,
do know.
that would be bad.
It'd be
That could
horrible.
cause a mistrial.
Well, why did you not mention that to the jury? You didn't even bring them back in. She didn't even bring them back in. They went out to the restroom, and then she just said, "Y'all go home, take to the house." So she never addressed them again. It's just weird. And then you get coupled with the fact that testimonies went lightning fast. I don't think testimonies have moved that fast in a while. I don't think that the state had a third witness ready. I think they were.
Probably. Wait a
I
minute.
think they were totally
Basically.
thrown off by the fact that the defense said, "Oh, we don't want to interview the 911 operator. Oh no, we don't want to talk to the lady that got shot." And then they're like, "Oh,
Yeah, see, I
yeah,
heard the 911 operator, and I heard,
mhm,
the woman who got shot in the butt, I
mhm,
think is what it was.
mhm."
I heard, "And where on the CAD report, and where on the CAD report, and where on the CAD," that
They were
was so
dragging it out. They were dragging it out. Yep.
yeah.
Those
So, yeah, I
witnesses were
heard
too.
that,
But
but
they go fast. But I think the point was, I don't think they expected no one. Road Dog, by the way, I don't think they expected the defense, not to ask any questions. They got done with 2 witnesses in 2 hours. They haven't gotten done with 2 witnesses in 2 weeks in
this
some
is
time.
true. This is
Right. Like
true.
saying, like there was no that was surprising. I think everybody
Yeah.
was like, whoa, they're moving through. Oh, we're cooking now. We're cooking.
They only
Somebody
had
said
those 2 witnesses
they only
there.
had 2
That's all
witnesses.
had. That's all they had,
That's what
yep.
I think. So I think it was serendipitous that they only had 2 witnesses, and whatever happened with this juror happened at the same time and converged into a malaise of dumpster fire house of cards at the same time. So
That's what it is.
I don't know it emphatically, of course. This is all conjecture. My name is Jason, and based upon information and belief, I believe. Hey, wait. If no, you know what? If Simone Hilton can excoriate these men because they had a white T-shirt on with a bad puffy jacket, then I can say emphatically that they didn't have enough witnesses there.
They didn't.
Right?
They didn't.
They did
She
not.
out there on the phone right now going, hurry up
Mhm.
again.
Girl, you don't have to pay. Don't have to worry about paying for parking. I'll pay for it. Just tell me the number. No, you can, girl, just get yourself up in here. Leave the car running. They'll watch your car. Come on up in here. But
That is hilarious.
yeah, I don't know, James. Look, James,
You
in the
did.
words of
I seen him call it. He
in
did.
the words of Tony Braxton, unbreak my heart. I can't do it anymore. Y'all done took me down the heartbreak road of mistrial too many times. Too many times. I just can't do it anymore. So I gotta hear it out of her mouth. I gotta see it. I gotta read the motion. I'm still going. They could still say mistrial today. I'm going to court tomorrow because I want to watch it. I got to make sure nobody's there. But
I still can't believe that Love wrote those motions to have them publicly
yeah,
admonished.
because she's a petty woman.
That
She's petty.
I have been thinking about that ever since she did it. They haven't done that to her as many times as she's not done her work, not had things available, sent the wrong thing.
But see, well, a couple things, and I think this trial can be studied from a lot of different angles. There'll be economists that study this trial. There'll be body language experts. There'll be orders that study this trial. There will be so many different ways you can study this trial. One of the things I think is a psychologist that studies how people, their brains. And I really believe that there's I'm not saying there's some psychological things that you can extract out of this trial. And what type of personality is Adrienne Love? She's a hyper alpha female. And how dare somebody chastise her? How dare somebody check her? Because I'm pretty sure, I'm going to go on a limb. If you went back through, several hours of testimony, whenever she gets checked by the defense, maybe check and see what she does in response after that. Because think about how many times has Westmoreland given her the business?
Sure.
And then her next response, like it has been horrible. So she doesn't take correction well. And maybe she doesn't take correction well from people that she sees under her. And, maybe she doesn't see these people as the same level as her. I'm the whatever chief deputy district attorney or whatever her letters and alphabet is. Maybe that's part of it. And so she doesn't take correction well. So that being the case, she responds very inappropriately when look, I said Miss Westmoreland, and look who popped up in the chat. That's what I'm talking about, y'all. Remember earlier this morning, I said, if you say Miss Westmoreland 3 times, Rome King will pop up. See, there you go. I told you. What's going on, Rome King? Good to see you, friend. I got to stop talking bad about you. Monica, you didn't get my message. You didn't get my message. So no, I agree that the defense doesn't behave like that. But I mean, there have been instances where they say, look, we gotta say something about this. This is out of pocket. Like, you've been told not to do this by the previous judge, and you're still behaving in this manner. So I'm fine with that. You can tell it's not tit for tat, as Adam said. We're not going tit for tat. We're just literally pointing out, something that you're doing wrong and it needs to stop. And I think that's respectable. No question about it. Let me bring this video in, make sure it's ready. All right. Okay, so I'm pulling up. At the current moment, nobody's there yet. I mean, the seal is there, of course.
Matt, Steve, we don't know exactly. We have our opinions, but we don't know exactly.
Yes, it's 100% speculation. But I do think that it's probably a montage of a couple things. I think it's maybe something really truly with the jury. I think it was maybe serendipitous that the state didn't have another witness. And by the way, please understand, Love had homework that she still hadn't done. So we're going to have to start
There's
homework.
A shocker.
Right. So there's that as well. So
what did she not do again?
Wait, what do you mean?
Her homework. What did she not do again?
That was
It's not the emails from yesterday, is it?
You know what? No, I take that back. That was yesterday. She did turn those in. Or I'm sorry, she did get those to them yesterday. So I take that back. I think Adrienne Love has done all her homework, I think. But I gotta look through my grade book. I gotta look through my grade book and see what missing assignments we got in there.
See how many zeros are by her name.
Right. Well, so you don't put a zero, you leave it as a missing assignment until, at least to the end of the week. So on Friday, that's when you go through and you start hitting them with them zeros. Because I ain't get it. 0, 0, 0, 0. But give me a little bit of time.
I didn't think she gave them the emails, but maybe she didn't. I didn't see it.
I think so. Yeah, you know what? Because it was supposed to be by lunchtime yesterday. I think she did do that.
Oh, she did it today?
It was yesterday. She did. So today's Thursday. So it was Tuesday she had to turn in those things by Wednesday. She did get those Wednesday lunch. But Tina said she did have homework. See, that's the point. The point is they should be done with this. It should be done. It should be finished. Matter of fact, okay, let me put this out there too, because I did ask this morning. If you are a legal mind, can you please tell me what is the difference if this trial was a federal trial versus it being a state, local, county trial? Can you please help me understand? Because we watched the video by Bruce Rivers this morning, and Bruce Rivers said if this was a federal trial, it would have been like this, been done. I'm like, well, what do they do differently? Like, help me understand. So if you are a legal mind, why would it move faster? You can shoot me an email or send me some links or whatever. Yeah, I saw this question. Somebody asked about Fonnie. Fonnie's going to be before she refused to turn in that paperwork. Now that's another person. Don't be turning in homework. So she's supposed to be turning in records from the Freedom of Information Act, and she hasn't done that. So I do believe that that's supposed to be tomorrow. Today's Thursday. I think it's supposed to be tomorrow.
Speaking of Bonnie, did you hear from that person? Do you have an interview tonight?
Nope, no interview.
Oh.
So I told everybody, if Courtney Kramer does reach out to me, it'll be I will only let y'all know when she's on camera, sitting here just like this, and it'll just be live. It'll just be surprise, because I'm not going to have you all expecting her to come and she doesn't show up, because I think that'll be super rude. And everybody's been very gracious. They said, "Oh, we wouldn't mind. It's okay. You try it." And I said, "But I don't like doing that. It bothers me."
Okay. Are you still doing the members chat tonight?
I'm gonna do it tomorrow.
Okay.
Simply because I'm wore out.
Yep, I understand.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just reading through to see if there's any other comments I might have missed, which I don't see any. And we're waiting for the state and court to get cranking back up. We'll see what this 2:00 shenanigans are about and such like that. Now, if you wanted to,
you may pull it up.
Well, I'm gonna yes, and I'm also gonna send you the list of actual charges. It's in the private chat right now.
Okay.
Because we started going over that this morning. Like, what is everybody's charges? What are they actually being charged for?
Oh, cool.
In this, and it was really informative. But again, we got started in the started talking about the trial and then never came back to it. I was gonna do it during lunch, but here we are here.
Is it a broke down list, or is the first one the list of charges?
No, it's broken down. So everybody, you see
that's cool. Okay.
all 56 charges and what each person is.
Okay.
Like who's getting charged with account 54 and who's getting charged with,
I see it's Thugger Daily Dogs. Okay, yeah. Cool. All right.
Oh man, Alan, bruh, you missed it, man. You missed it. It was a pretty spirited morning. We had shenanigans, we had hijinks, we had tomfoolery. So we had some, I think it's fair to say that there's some filler witnesses. We had a 911 operator and a woman who was actually shot in the Antonio Sledge drive-by shooting. And
I think they're coming back.
You think they're back?
Yeah. I see the camera moving.
Okay. But something happened to a juror, Alan, and Judge Whitaker sent the entire jury home. So this was about 11 o'clock, give or take, 10:45. And she sent the jury home, recessed until 2 o'clock. Now everybody's coming back right now, and we'll see what happens.
And maybe not. Maybe somebody name them.
Now, to be fair and to be transparent, the way the camera's situated, when the cameraman comes by, he has to move by the camera, but he can still go sit back down. So he might have walked past the camera to have a seat because nobody's in there. It's very possible. I just wanted to flex that I knew why the camera moved. That was all. I just wanted to sound cool, like I know what I was talking about.
We think you're so cool with your Rule 22, Jason.
There you go. I'm super cool. I'm beside myself with cool. shoot, the way they traveling, they're gonna throwing everybody out there. They're gonna throw that out.
Hey, Trevor. Chard, how are you doing? That's a friend of mine.
Oh,
Good
hey,
to have
Trevor,
you in
how
the
are you?
chat.
Okay. Bora Bora is bent on there being a mistrial. Now it's an earthquake mistrial. Okay. I make it happen. So if you want to look at that, at the indictment and the charges that everybody has.
Where did you leave off?
Actually, I had only done the second one.
Oh, okay.
And truthfully, we're really just going over conspiracy to violate the RICO Influence Act, and then the camera started moving. So then we jump back over. So if you want to pull it on, or you want
Okay, I actually hear the judge now.
Yeah,
So.
I see her too.
Is that the only area? I know this one.
Like a badge of honor. Like a badge of honor, man. Okay, that's a theory.
Here, I got
Okay.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
Is that you?
My
Is
bad.
it yours or mine?
There we go.
Here, I'm gonna take mine out.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. There you go.
Okay, there's yours. Okay, cool.
Get together and get some things settled to get on the same page with exhibits and things? Do we have any kind of?
With the exhibits, I spoke with Mr. Adams, and we agreed to exchange physical copies at 2. That was the suggestion, and so we're gonna do that. I did have an opportunity to speak preliminarily with some of the attorneys about the other matters.
Okay.
And so those are we're working on those.
Good.
And Miss Knight is headed over with the last page of the exhibits that we have, and we're going to exchange the 2, and we can continue to compare.
Okay. All right. So if we're not quite ready to go through that, which it doesn't really make much sense to do before y'all have had a chance to see what you are on the same page about, then do we want to maybe keep going through the wiretap evidence, or because y'all were going to also get together on some of the Mr. Ryan evidence, so I'll give y'all a chance to do that as well.
Right. I've only done part of that.
Yeah, no, I know. And I mean, I was going to give you some, I know that we're having this unexpected non-jury day, so I don't expect y'all to have already accomplished all of that, but I don't want us to just waste time since we're here.
Everybody type Westmoreland in the chat.
One thing
Westmoreland.
to do is just skip over that one issue that you asked for a little more time on, and but you also haven't really had time to narrow down what else you think is on here. Okay, so what do we still need to look at that is not this either, but that is evidence? I didn't think about that.
I'll let them respond.
I'm listening. Oh, sorry. So the list of all of the various parts of the wiretaps that the state wanted to introduce. Remember yesterday I encouraged them to further narrow that down, and obviously they haven't had a chance to do that yet either. So I don't want us to go over things that we might not ultimately need to be discussing.
I'm just putting this on the radar. I don't have any anticipation that the state is ready to do this today, but I'm just, for my periodic reminder, there's issues with my client's cell phone was extracted, and there's issues with any texts or any information extracted from my client's cell phone. That was in 2022, so that's involving the Shamal drinks case. I brought that up a couple of times, and the state said that they're going to identify those items. They haven't yet. I'm not complaining. I'm just trying to replace that on the radar
Thank you.
for some later time.
Okay.
And Your Honor, I just want to make certain it's just the identification. There's not like a suppression or anything motion on the
You just want to
table.
know what all they're going to use.
I did move to suppress the search of my client's phone, but that was denied by Judge Glanville. So, you know, there's just a lot on my client's phone that has nothing to do with this case. There's bad character stuff. There's
Well, I would hope if it has nothing to do with the case, that the state doesn't intend to use it, but
from my perspective, it has nothing to do with the case. I'll put it like that. And so at some point, anything that the state plans to use as far as text messages, things of that nature, that needs to be litigated.
all right, when can the state do that?
I think that in the same way we're doing with Mr. Ryan, we can schedule, Mr. Sharton and I can talk about when he's available, and we can actually go through it whenever, like this weekend.
I'm trying to buff Ms. Love's offer to sit down with her, but it would just be.
It doesn't have to be
helpful.
me, just somebody
Well,
who's
it's not
filtering.
you, it's just, if the state could just identify what they plan on using, and then I could look at their list and then figure out.
Okay, so
Thoughts on
can you get,
About Ms. Love personally, it's just sitting down with anyone going through my client's phone. I just think if they go through it and figure out what they want to use and let me know, then.
and then you can maybe, okay. Sort of like y'all done with some of the other things. So if you can, when can you provide to Mr. Sharp the proposed list, I guess?
We need at least to try and whittle it down. We need at least through next week. So no sooner
All
with.
right, so by next Friday, you could do that?
Can we have until the next Monday?
By the following Monday,
Yes,
the 23rd?
yes.
Okay.
That's fine. And Your Honor, these are probably when I think about it, the sequence of charged acts, these are at the very end. So if we're going
Well,
sequentially.
I mean,
would
that's
assume-
fine, but
Yeah, I'm
we
just-
still have to do it at some point, and so probably the sooner they can get it done and get it to you, and you can, y'all can maybe agree to certain things, maybe not, I don't know, but then we will have it available to litigate whenever we do have another non-jury day. So
Absolutely.
thanks for getting that put on the list. Appreciate it.
Yes, Your Honor.
What else are we gonna still need to look at? What other kind of buckets of evidence that we haven't discussed yet?
Got the wiretap. Phones. I'm thinking, Judge.
Okay. And I mean, one thing we had done at some point, and I don't know if we got all the way through it, but the state had provided everybody with this order of proof and exhibits. Did we get all the way through that? Because that might help trigger, oh, this is something we're gonna need to litigate. If y'all got those available, maybe we could look a little bit further through those.
I can get a copy and just for the court's awareness, we just got those printouts that I'm going to exchange with Mr. Adams, if we can be allowed to, the exhibit list printouts that I referenced
Okay.
earlier.
Yeah, I don't think we'd gone all the way through this. Y'all aren't actually doing the comparison right now, are you? Okay, are y'all gonna be finished with whatever it is you are doing soon? Okay. Okay. So if everybody has access to that list that the state had provided a while ago with their kind of a chart of the witness testimony and exhibits, I don't think we went all the way through it, and that might help everybody to think about if there are other types of evidence that we're going to need to still handle kind of motions in limine on. I know we've gotten through at least proposed witness 24, maybe 26. But I don't know if we've gotten much further than that. Let me know when y'all all have it. Okay. So if we're on page 6 at the top with Turner, I would assume y'all have seen all the crime scene photos. Do y'all know, do you, the state, know which ones you're intending to use?
So page 6.
I mean, have y'all gotten together on things like that? Like, okay, here are the, 25 or 10 or whatever crime scene photos that are going to be used with crime scene tech Turner and.
I don't believe that our team has gotten with the defense on those.
Okay.
There is we have been, and we advised them that we have been told since 2022, I think, that there was a set of photos from Adele Avenue that we didn't have. They said it was lost in the hack. We have been persistent, and Mr. Brown has somehow or another gotten somebody to put their hands on a flash drive that has photos in it that he received this morning from APD. We have the emails from between all of us requesting that they go find some physical copies. We brought this to the court and defense's attention several weeks, maybe a couple of months back, that we didn't have them. They said they didn't have them, and we just kept asking, and somehow somebody found a flash drive.
That happens sometimes.
I can't make it up, but he has them, and I don't know that he's sent copies of them, but we can have copies brought over. That's just a matter that, since we're in the middle of that, I think they need to have and see.
Okay.
And so we'll bring that over as well if it's not already been sent over via a link. It may have been sent over via a Dropbox link.
Okay.
But we've not yet gone over the individual pictures and told the defense which ones we will and will not use. I can get the prosecutor who will be Mr. Brown. I can get him over here, and we can have a conversation with a member of the defense, just one, so they can share that, because he's already taken those out and just made that decision.
Can you have a member of your team go ahead and reach out to him, and can he maybe come over today?
Yes, and yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And we honestly may not have gone witness by witness up to page 6. So if you look back and see something on the first 5 pages that we haven't covered yet that y'all feel needs to get litigated, let me know. Or if you don't yet know kind of more specifically what that evidence is going to be and need to, let me know.
Okay. I'm reviewing that now.
And for all of the photos, like with Miss Bell today, you introduced, I think, 4, but you only used 1. I mean, to the extent, you know, you can continue that sort of thing where it's not cumulative, then that's fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you for doing that.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you. There is one witness whose attorney, I'll just apprise the court and counsel that may be coming up. Mr. Arnold, I've been in touch with his Miss Merchant, and so that I see that on the list of might sprinkle exhibits if it's necessary for impeachment.
Can y'all hear her?
I'm sorry. I've just been in touch with one of the co-defendants' attorneys. I see his interview on Mr. Sprinkle's list of exhibits if it's necessary to use, because I've been talking with her about him coming up relatively soon. I had not gone over his interview. I don't think we've gone over his interview at all, but it would only be used for impeachment purposes in any event. But if that's something that I'll have to discuss with the defense in terms of things that they believe that are, impermissible and admissible, but that's something that's on the radar.
Okay.
So can I inquire? I believe I'm looking at the same document as everyone else. For number 8, Michael Sprinkle, it says jail calls, pictures of infinity, social media, and interviews. When we're saying interviews, Mr. DA Sprinkle is kind of a unique witness in this case because he's a DA, but he also, I think it's fair to say, he fulfilled a certain investigatory role mid-investigation. However, he wasn't sitting when it says interviews.
Let's get some clarification on that. Are these interviews that Mr. Sprinkle conducted of people, or what are these?
Yes, and it's also detailed in the report that we provided that he gave that 146 page report. So there are interviews that law enforcement conducted in 2015 and 16 that he would not have been a part of as a result of further investigation that he did. He would have gone out to speak with some of those same witnesses again. And those are the only ones that he would be speaking to.
Okay, so the state
interviews that he was in, like it says 2017, like for impeachment if
I don't
necessary.
see a 20. Are y'all looking at a different
That's what I'm wondering, because I don't see specific, it just says interviews.
I don't see a date or anything.
Okay.
Maybe if you've got a more detailed exhibit and witness list by now, maybe share that with us.
I do. It has some notes on
Okay.
here, so, but I will say it out loud if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. So ours just says jail calls, pictures of Infinity, interviews, social media, doesn't specify.
Thank you. And I thank Mr. Shard as well for that, bringing that to my attention. So the Quindarius Zachary 2017 interview, if necessary, the Martinez Arnold 2017 interview.
Okay, so my concern was simply this: we are on the same page that he's not going to be commenting on interviews that he simply reviewed to bring himself up to speed before beginning his work.
It doesn't sound like it.
Okay.
These are interviews that he
Yes.
was a part of.
Right.
Okay. So maybe interview, maybe not the best word, but
Well, if he conducted it, if he was a part of it, then for impeachment purposes, he would be the one that would be impeaching the witness if necessary.
And it would
Okay.
be only for witnesses that have already testified in
Correct.
case.
Yeah, yes, Your
okay.
Honor.
So, yeah, so he's actually a little bit out of order. Well, no, I guess not. I don't know. So Arnold, Zachary, and whom else?
We have Kenya Morton, if we call her. She has been listed as an alibi witness for Mr.
Okay.
Kendrick. So we may just let him put her up, but we haven't, she's on here. So we can still discuss items within that interview that may need to be dealt with or redacted. So that's 3.
All right, so yes, so these would be only after they testify and for impeachment. If
Absolutely.
you don't just use the interviews to impeach them while they're on the stand.
Right.
Okay. And then, do we know whose jail calls?
We have Mr. Arnold's, Mr. Bradford's, Mr. Stillwell's, Mr. Sledge's. I think we have dealt with the ones from Mr. Sledge while he was. We dealt with the one I think that we were dealing with Mr. Sledge. And in Mr. Sprinkle's report, he referenced specific ones as it relate to Mr. Arnold, Bradford, and Stillwell. But what we'll do is go through those. That's another conversation we have to have and inform counsel for defendants, specifically those jail calls as well. So right now, what I'm looking at that we need to do from Mr. Sprinkle is go over the 3 interviews that potentially he could testify about if necessary, and just deal with any items that maybe need to be addressed, redacted, dealt with, and the jail calls from Mr. Arnold, Bradford, and Stillwell. I think we also had social media pics, but I think we got Mr. Bradford's social media pics in through Mr. Copeland. And we also got the social media pictures regarding Mr. Kendrick in already through one of the witnesses that have already testified. So outside of that, and I think we also got the post with Mr. Garlington and Mr. Williams with the "we're not going back and forth" in already. Those
All
are
right. So there's no social media left that he'd be talking about then. Okay, so we can cross that one off. Okay. So going back then to page 1 with Mr. Zachary, have we dealt with everything we need to deal with for him? Social media, jail calls, and interview?
Let me check our bucket that we've provided. Hold on.
I can answer for the interviews. We have reviewed the interviews on the cursory level for bad character, those sorts of things. Now, my stance is that those out-of-court statements should not be played unless there's a proper foundation. So, of course, we still have that issue, and that won't be resolved until we hear what Mr. Zachary's testimony is. But we have reviewed those
Okay,
statements
I thought
for
so.
the other stuff.
And jail calls and social media, yes or no?
Interview on the 2017, March, I believe, 3rd, 2017 interview of Mr. Zachary. There was one part that the Honorable Court, I think, redacted that I would like you to reevaluate if it becomes necessary. I understand it's all premature, but there's one section on one page that I would like to, I plan on, if it's ripe, cross-examining Mr. Zachary on and then impeaching him if he says something different.
Okay.
I could give you a page
Do
if
you
you
know
want.
what day was this that week in August that we had the non-jury week that we would have reviewed that stuff? Okay.
Your Honor, would the court please allow Mr. Steele to just tell us the statement or generally a summation of which one he's talking about?
Yeah, I'm sure he would do that for us. All right, I see Zachary's social media postings. We went through all of that. Was this wasn't one of these things on these big Zachary, these things? No, that's, oh, yeah. Okay. So can you direct me a little more specifically now that I've got that in front of me?
Of course. Your Honor, this is the 2017 proper.
All right, hang on. The one I've got says 2015. Yeah.
If you need a copy, we can, I'm sure, give you one.
I would have thought I had a copy if we've already been through it. Maybe I just looked at it online. I don't know. Mm. Would this have been in one of the evidence reviewer links, maybe, that the state sent?
This particular interview was not on evidence reviewer.
Okay.
It was they were the MP3s. They were MP3 files, and there was an audio. I honestly don't remember us playing the audio of this in court. I think we were mostly working off the transcripts.
Is this, okay. So I've got his August 5th, 2015 interview.
That's the evidence reviewer
Okay.
one.
And then I've got a list that I think you put together was kind of page and line objections that I
Right.
think was to the 2017 one.
That's the one that
Okay.
Mr. Steele is referring to.
All right. So I ought to have a transcript of it somewhere, but where that is at this point, I'm not quite sure.
Helps. It's a words express transcript. It's not one of the ones that the state produced. The transcripts, there's some look one way, some look the other one. This one is a words express transcript. And it's 262 pages.
All right, well, honestly, instead of me taking time trying to find it in some electronic file, if y'all have got a copy of it that I can borrow, that would work as well. Thank you.
This is the one that's 275 pages. Okay, just because I know we have multiple transcripts by different transcribers, if they would just, if the court would allow them to just send to the state as well, the one they're referring
Mr.
to.
Howell, can you send it to Miss Love as well when you hit send? Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll make sure that the microphone on the witness stand is off.
Yes.
I think this might be the culprit.
Mhm.
I think that the extra microphone on the witness
Might
stand
be what's causing it.
I turned it off.
Okay. And Mr. Howell, did you send it directly to me or through my law clerk?
I did not send it. I
It's-
sent it to Max because I didn't have your email.
Okay, that's fine.
I was going to send it to Miss. I have her. I don't have her.
That's fine. She's listening in, so. Ms. Persfield, when you get it, you know to just forward it to me.
And I just sent one. I think I found the one. And so I just sent it to everyone as well. So including the court, if that's the right one, they can let me know if it's not the one they're using.
Okay, well, I've got the one that Ms. Love just sent. That's June 14, 2017, and it's word expressed. So I think that's the same transcript.
Should be March 3rd. But hold on, let me see.
That was the date of the transcription.
Date of transcription. Yes. Okay. That. Okay. Anyway, so now that we've got it.
If we could just get that date, that page and lines that Mr. Steele referred to so that I can go straight to it.
I know it to be page 39, lines 14 through 20. And this honorable court has preliminarily excluded that unless a foundation is laid. And I just wanted to, while we're talking about information, I just wanted to tell you that I was going to seek to lay the foundation. That's yeah.
Your Honor, unless my memory is incorrect, I don't think that this was a foundational issue. I guess the record will most accurately reflect what it was that it was excluded on, but I don't believe that this was an issue about foundation. Line 14 through 20 on page 39.
Well, I mean, if it was a foundational issue and you can lay the foundation, then that takes care of that. Okay. Okay. Ms. Love, do you have a,
I don't have my notes on that hearing that we had that Mr. Steele is referring to, so I don't have at hand the court's ruling or anything that I can make a definitive statement about it on. Not that. I have to search through that. I don't have those notes. I'm gonna check with the team.
Your Honor, I reviewed my notes from that day.
Okay.
For page 39.
what day was it? That would help me.
2 days later. August 6th, 2022.
August 6th. Okay.
Court has to take and sort out the argument.
Say it again. Pick up the mic and say it.
Court has to state, sort out their argument on this and get back to the court.
Ah, well, there we go.
We may be on the same page. At the time, I was trying to figure out what was based on personal knowledge versus hearsay, and the state was arguing either personal knowledge or statements of a co-conspirator. So at the time, on August 6th, the state was seeking to admit this evidence. And so that's why they were supposed to circle back. But now as trial has progressed, Mr. Steele is saying he wants to use it. So that's why the state was supposed to get back.
Okay. Does that ring a bell, Ms. Love?
A small one. I'm just going through our notes on that.
Okay.
No, I didn't bring the, and you ain't gonna put them in your. Yeah, so, yeah, but I'm not gonna let you put this in. Yeah, make it hotter. Yeah, turn it around.
I think I just can't turn it off.
You just, oh, you want to keep it on, right? Maybe just hold on. Just let it go. Give me some of that. Hold on. All right, can you feel it? Yeah. Okay, I see. They thick. It's a tripper.
Well, does the state still think they want that in? And if not, if the defense gets it in, they'll have an issue with that or?
I'm reading just the area before it and the area right after it
right.
because I just want to make sure that we don't have an issue with it.
Okay.
And Your Honor, it's also going to some extent, rely on what else was kept out and what was kept in. So that's the reason I'm just searching through that portion. Can you get some more detail? Because I know she kept it. I'm seeing it. Your Honor, as to page 39, lines 14 and 20, they hearken back to page 38, lines 11. The context of that, I think, at the very least, starts on page 38 at line 11. And in that, the soon-to-be-called witness is informing the detectives about someone's opinion regarding who shot up a certain location. And that is listed on page 38, lines 11 through 12. All of that is speculation and the witness sharing with detectives what somebody else thought happened. And so as you get to lines 21 through 24 on page 38, when asked explicitly whether that happened, the witness says, I don't know. So as we get further down, the witness is then asked, have you heard who may have done that? And the witness says he was locked up with the boy that was charged with it. And then ADA Sprinkle says, yeah, but I mean, do you think he did? Did he tell you that he did? The witness says, no, he said he didn't do it because the witness's cousin was supposed to make a statement on it or something, but it was the wrong girl. He said he didn't do it though. And then they get into, let's talk about, who shot Kelvin Watts in Mechanicsville?
Right, and I think that's the part that Mr. Steele was saying, if he can lay the foundation, he wants to get into, right, Mr. Steele?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Ms. Love.
Okay, so I remember this argument. So if there's no objection from anybody else, I don't think that we have one to
Okay, well, Mr. Steele, do you think that, is your plan to kind of ask some foundational questions to figure it out? Or do you think that it's already enough here in this transcript?
I think it may be enough, but I will ask foundational questions.
Okay. I mean, it seems
If
like,
needed, I'll ask him first. about it. And I
Okay.
won't use the transcript. And then if he says something different, I'll say, did you say this? But I'll lay a foundation
Okay,
before
I
I
mean,
ask him the
that's-
first question.
And Your Honor, I obviously, if it's established that he has a basis for knowledge that does not consist of what somebody else might have said some other time that we don't know about, and he doesn't have personal knowledge of it, if it's not that situation, but he does have a basis for it, unless there's some other valid objection, then there's nothing that I can, complain about right now.
Okay. All right,
If there's an objection, we'll make it at the time, but I don't see anything right now.
okay. Thank you. Okay, so back to Mr. Zachary. The interview would only be for impeachment, and have we gone through all of his social media and jail calls that might get utilized?
I thought we had gone through his
I mean, I thought we had to
social media,
just check him.
very least.
I mean, it looks to me like we definitely went through his social media postings and made the evidentiary determinations about that. But I don't know if we did jail calls or not.
I don't recall going through any jail calls.
Okay, so are there jail calls that you might intend to utilize? Isn't he coming up pretty soon? Potentially,
Potentially. Yes.
Okay.
And so I think that any of Zachary's jail calls would only be used to impeach Zachary if we needed to use Zachary's jail calls.
All right.
So right now,
Okay, so that would just be, if it happens to come up, we'll just roll with it at the time, I guess. Unless obviously if you know of something that you think is going to be an issue,
right.
then just kind of alert us outside the jury's presence.
I
But
can-
otherwise, that'll just be a trial issue. Okay. And then the next witness on this sheet is Detective Thorpe. And I think y'all were gonna get together on the part of Mr. Kendrick's interview that might come in on redacting it for any potential Bruton issues. Did y'all get a chance to do that yet?
What my memory is, Your Honor, was that I know I said that I would be asking Detective Thorpe questions rather than trying to play all of that. And there were maybe portions where Mr. Kendrick talked about where he was on January 10th.
Okay, yeah,
2015,
no,
that
I'm looking
part I
now.
would
We
let-
did. Okay, so we just went through what was okay and what wasn't. Okay. All right, so there aren't any outstanding issues then for him.
There was one thing, and I don't think that it's on here, but we were trying to put our finger on it within our team because we had identified a call between Mr. Kendrick and Miss Morton, where Mr. Kendrick, from our listening of it, seemed to be essentially trying to establish an alibi. And it seemed, I'll be clear, he said, I was with you. I was with you. And she says something to the effect of, yeah, you were with me. You were with me.
Mhm.
And I wanted to put Mr. Weinstein and his team on notice. He's not here. So, but Mr.
Well,
Howell,
yeah.
Mr. Howell
And his team.
and his team on notice that there is that call that is in the calls that were served in 2022, but we are wanting to identify the exact date and time to extract the MP4 so that they have it. But
All right.
We have it identified. It's just locating it in the large bucket of calls, but that is one that we know that we will end up playing.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay.
And we're regarding the custodian of records. I know that we've probably beaten this horse, but there's still no stipulation regarding those. Nobody wants to stipulate as to, okay.
Doesn't sound like it. If anybody reconsiders on that front, please let the state know. All right, so with Mr. Sprinkle, with the jail calls for Arnold, Bradford, Stillwell. The defense has them all, right?
Yes, and I believe that they're in the bucket of exhibits that we provided to them. I'm confirming that.
Yes, sir.
While on the subject of jail calls, I know we went away from this topic, but the state mentioned Quindarius Zachary jail calls. From my recollection in the discovery, I don't believe we've ever been served Quindarius Zachary jail calls. I do know, I'm more certain that the state has never identified any sort of group of calls that maybe they may be interested in bringing into this case. So if there are some calls, if we haven't been served them, which I don't believe we have, I would ask that they be excluded. But if there are some calls into discovery, I would just ask that they're identified before, like, right when the state wants to bring them in, because we're going to have to review them. I know that Your Honor said, when that comes up, we'll get to it and we'll discuss it. I just don't want to be in a situation where I'm hearing about a jail call of Mr. Zachary's for the first time in court. And then
Well,
having it,
certainly if y'all don't have them, then that's an issue, but let's find that out.
All of the jail calls have been served. Everything, all of our jail calls for especially Mr. Zachary, which would have been those that we had around 2015. And I'll go look and point to specific things, but again, I have not identified any particular cause of his that we intend to use, and we wouldn't be introducing anything except for impeachment purposes. And his statements, the summaries of his interviews and transcripts of his interviews have all been provided. Obviously, people get on the stand and their memories, stuff happens with them. So.
Okay, so do you happen to know like what tranche of discovery it would have been?
Judge, what I was doing at the moment Mr. Sharp asked that question, is I was actually trying to get the answer to
All right, we'll give you a minute.
Calls regarding Mr. Bradford and Mr. Arnold that are listed under Mr. ADA Sprinkle. And those were the January.
Bradford and Arnold, we got that. I'm talking about Zach.
The court made the inquiry, so I was trying to.
Okay, so through Sprinkle, it would be Arnold, Bradford, and Stillwell, and that's it. Jail calls, potentially.
I believe it would be, those are the ones that we have identified so far. Yes, those are the ones that we intended. There were only, I think, 5. And I paused because I was now looking at okay, there they are. So the January 11, 2015 call between Martinez Arnold and Javaris Bradford. The January 10th, 2015 call of Martinez Arnold at 7:42 p.m. The January 10th, 2015 call.
Jason, you're muted.
And the January 17th, 2015 call at 7:17 p.m. Those are the ones that we have provided that we intended to introduce through ADA Sprinkle. Now, as to the follow-up question that Mr. Sharp just asked about, and that the court inquired about, the Zachary jail calls were served in they are in July of 2022 under the jail calls folder.
Okay.
July 6, 2022 at 9:16 a.m. So the first discovery service, and it's in the folder called Zachary, Quindarius.
All right. So that ought to help y'all locate it to review or re-review.
Could we just ask, as soon as the state identify, and I understand that they're saying for impeachment at this time, but as soon as they identify what they want to use, that they let us know. So we're not, I just don't want to litigate in court while the jury's here, just like.
And I appreciate that.
The court instructed us to alert the court and counsel outside the presence of the jury if that need arises. The court does have periodic breaks, and we intend to do that without.
I mean, I imagine it would be kind of hard to know before you know how he's going to testify, but is it a large volume of calls?
One moment to look at approximately how many. And to be clear, I know the subjects, I know the questions, generally speaking. I don't have a script of his responses. And so it is almost impossible to, at this point, predict which, if any, would be impeaching, because as everyone has witnessed, sometimes answers are non-responsive and not true at the same time. So it's just, I'll look through Mr. Zachary's calls to see if there is any one that contains something that's not in a statement or a summary.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so then I think that with regard to Mr. Sprinkle and what evidence would come in through him, we've gone through that. And then we've got cell phone custodians. I think we already talked about Mr. Burney. Which brings us to either Voss or, is it Wetzel? Is that how you say that? Weitzel?
All right, let's get you all taken care of. I know that Mandy just dropped the link, so let me just get you back in here. I apologize. I just walked back in from executive second born. Let me know Do you want me to, maybe take like a little detour and go over the charges and indictment? I know I mentioned that we were going to do that during lunchtime. If y'all want, I will gladly do that because I know there's a lot of horse trading going on, and we can do that at like
Counsel
3:30
for
if
the
y'all want.
defendants is that
Because I know there's
she
a
not
this
just
is not
peer
really that
reviewed,
exciting.
but
So
she
just let me know, like in the
verified
chat, just give me
the
let me know.
results
Do y'all want me
that
to
Mr.
switch over
Foss
and I can just pull up the indictments?
obtained,
We can go over those
and
real
her
quick as well.
notes
So let
were
me know what y'all
what
think
I
about that.
requested from the
All right, let's
GBI. Normally
drop a
they're
one in the chat when
pretty
y'all can hear.
fast, and I'm just checking to make sure that they have not sent them and I just missed it. But I'm going to also follow up.
All
with a
right, so
call.
either, if you do have the email, just send that on, and if not, follow up. Okay. So that's all that's outstanding for that. Okay, Officer Atha, that's just, that doesn't look like anything particularly. You'll just pick which pictures are necessary. Same with Sanders. And Smith, that evidence already came in, right? With Sledge.
Yes, actually, she that video from
Yeah,
that one, the one video did.
Okay.
Yes.
and then we've done Miss Latner's, and Miss Bell. And Pitts is just gonna be testimony.
Pitts' testimony and some of those pictures that we talked about earlier today, that if we've not sent a link over, that we're going to be providing to them. Those are the 1428 ADL Avenue pictures. If the court would indulge. Can you confirm? So we have identified 9, I think, out of several from 1428 Adele Avenue that we intend to use.
Okay. With Pitts. Am I understanding you correctly?
Let me confirm.
Okay.
Just one moment.
All right, this is not going to work. So I'm going to jump over and we're going to bring up the indictments so we can look at those. I had them queued up, and I think it would be better to go over the indictments than to watch Horse Trading Central, which seems to be the what we're doing today. So, all right, grace and peace, everybody. Hopefully they didn't bore you out of death, man. That was just tumultuous. All right, so what we have here, I'll make it a little bit smaller. Okay, what we have here are the indictments that all of the YSL members that we know of currently are being tried for, and the such of that nature. So let's look over these, and let me drop the link. I dropped it earlier, but let me drop it again. It's the same link if you did not catch it before, if you want to follow along or whatever like that. I know there's a lot of students that want to really dig into this, so I'm going to give it to you. Make sure you have it available to you. All right, so there's the link. So let's look at this. The defendant's still on trial, counts on the indictment. We know that there's Mr. Huey, Mr. Stillwell, Mr. Nichols, Mr. Kendrick, Mr. Jeffrey Williams, and of course, Mr. Ryan. And yesterday we had a lot of discussion about Mr. Ryan because I think he's got one charge and he's already got life in prison. So we were kind of discussing, like, what's the purpose of him being here? Isn't that prejudicial that he's got life in prison and he's being lumped together with all these other people? So seems pretty wild, but let's keep going. Yeah, Marcravius is a problem. That's unequivocal. That is no joke, no problem right there at all. Let me move myself out of the way. All right, let's look at this. I don't know if you can hear me when I do that. Let me do it like this. There we go. Okay, so charge one, and this is conspiracy to violate the Racketeering, Influenced, and Corrupt Organizations Act. We know that is RICO, further known as RICO, and that is Mr. Huey, Mr. Kendrick, Mr. Nichols, Mr. Ryan Stillwell, as well as Mr. Jeffries. So everybody's getting lumped together in count one. Let us continue. Number two, murder, and this is of Nut. They got Mr. Kendrick as well as Mr. Stillwell. Those are the two that are being tried for the deletion of Mr. Thomas. Okay. Then charge three, Mr. Huey is being charged with armed robbery. Let's just keep going because it's literally his name for all of these. Charges three, charges four, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Then charge five, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I don't know why there's two of them. It's the same charge twice. Okay. Interesting. And please, if you're a legal mind, please consider that this is my plea for insight. So if you can explain why there's two different charges, was it two different events or what? So please feel free to add. Same thing with felony possession of a firearm, same thing. So if there's something I'm missing, don't, this is my plea for help. So don't let me say something wrong or not represent something properly. Charge number six, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. And charge number seven, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. And so that's Mr. Huey. Then we got number eight, defendant accepted plea agreement. Whoever that was already accepted a plea agreement. So if that was, let's just say if it was Jason, then Jason was being charged with charge eight, which was theft by receiving stolen property, but Jason pled out. So let's go with number nine. Defendant accepted plea agreement, violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act. So basically, Jason was carrying, selling, manufacturing some kind of illegal substance. Violation of controlled substance. I'm sorry, controlled substance. So it could be drugs, it could be alcohol, something like that. All right, let's keep going. Number 10, whoever pled out, they had violation of Georgia's controlled substance again, possession of firearm by a convicted felon. That was whoever that was pled out in the participation in criminal street game activity. Now this is interesting because I'm wondering if YSL is a street gang or being considered a gang. Why are they not holding? Why is this one? Why are they not all in this one? Number 12. Maybe they will be, but I don't see them in here. So that's interesting. Let us keep going. Okay, let me make sure I'm not. Wait, what did okay, Rome King said 2 different people at the same time, most likely. All right, so let me go right here. So right here. Then why did they not have the same people's names in here though? Rome King? Because they could have said, like right here, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. They could have had Marquavius Huey, Jeffrey Williams, Stillwell, whomever. They could have did it just like they did this. They had everybody's name in here. They didn't write one. Everybody got their name once. It just seems confusing. And again, I realize that I'm not a legal mind by any measure. Yeah, Marquavius needs to put your arm around him, man. He needs some help for sure. Well, at this point, it's too late, but oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, look at his name. My goodness. Number 12, defendant accepted plea agreement, and this is participation in criminal street gang activity. See, they had this one twice as well, but I'm like, if YSL is a street gang, why are they different events? Monica says different events. Okay, all right, interesting. Okay, thank y'all. Thank you very much. Multiple firearms, multiple victims. Okay. All right. Wait. Imagine you rob somebody with a firearm, but their friends are there too. Did I rob both of them? Or did I just rob the one person and leave the friend? This is very interesting, man. This is very fascinating. I'm not even trying to be funny. This is really fascinating. Number 13, defendant accepted a plea agreement. Theft by receiving stolen property. Again, there's another theft by stolen property. It's right here, number 8, as well as number 13. It must have been somebody different. So let's say that this was Jason, but up here, this one was Rome King. Okay, maybe that makes sense. All right. Lord have mercy, bruh. Mr. Huey, my guy, Mr. Huey. We need to have a conversation. At this point, it's actually too late to have a conversation. My dude, this should not be you, man. This is not cool. So, armed robbery, 1 and 2. Aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 1 and 2. Hijacking a motor vehicle in the first degree. Good gracious, man. Possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. Possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. Another one. Didn't he have that one already? My goodness. There's another one. Yeah. He had it 2 other times up here. Bruh, you on some speed racers type of stuff, man. Bro, you a boss level getting charges. This don't make no sense, my guy. During the commission of felony, aggravated. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Commission of felony right here. Participation in criminal street gang activity. Participation, street gang activity. So there's 3 of those right there. Wow. This poor man. He was a major problem. Look. Right. Is he the leader? It sounds like he would be the leader. Quay. We need to have a conversation, my guy. He padding the felonies stats like LeBron in a game. I mean, really, this dude over here got a quadruple. He over here going for a triple double up in here. That's not the goal. This you're supposed to do it in a basketball game, not in criminal charges, my guy. Number 24, defendant accepting plea agreement. So I don't know who it is, but they had a violation of Georgia's controlled substance again, probably some kind of drug charge. Huey's allegations included armed robberies for iPhones. Wow, man. Dude, bro, you can buy iPhones off of eBay and refurbish some things and sell them for a gang. I mean, it is an up and coming market, my guy. Stealing is not what you don't need to steal. All right, let's go 25. And these people pled out. So they had possession of firearm during convicted felon, okay, and participate in street gang activities. Again, it just seems like it would be a little neater if they kept all of the charges. So like, and I guess if they did it separate activities, I guess maybe that's it. All right, I get you. I get you. I'm just trying to make it effective. It's hard for me to read it. So that's probably what my problem is. It's a Jason problem. It's not the criminal justice fault. It's not Fonnie Willis. I'm not trying to come after Adrian Love. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like my mind is saying that everybody who's convicted or being tried for participation in street gang activity should have all been lumped together right here. That's what my brain is saying. But I'm trying to teach my brain to say something different. So let us continue. This offended, one defendant accepted a plea agreement. One defendant severed from the case because his lawyer was arrested. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. There's a young lady who was on the trial, who was an attorney, and she was arrested. Oh my gosh, man, that story is wild. And that's what I'm saying. Like, this case has had so many ups and downs. Not only them trying to throw Brian Steele in jail, there was literally an attorney who was in jail because she was participating and helping, giving. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. It's crazy. Monica said, let's look at count 26. Participation in street gang activity. What about this one? Let's look at count 26. Hold on. Is there something about it? No, I'm need you not to name. No, Rome King. We do not accept you naming your car Quay. No, we do not accept that. Let us continue though. Let me know what you. Okay, so that's 27. 28. The defendant accepted a plea agreement. One defendant accepted a plea agreement. The other one was severed because his lawyer was arrested. Hijacking motor vehicle in the first degree. Wow. Defendant 29. Defendant severed from the case because lawyer was arrested. That is absolutely bonkers. The gang activity involved possession of drugs. Thank you, Monica. Thank you very much. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Thank you, friend. I still want this to be a little bit more cleaner over here on the left side. Was this column B? I want column B to make a little bit more sense to me, but I'm willing to give it to you. I see what you're talking about now. Yeah, the same lawyer. I got to find it. Somebody's going to put her name in here, put the article in here. It was a young lady here in Atlanta, and she helped out her. She knew that her client was about to get arrested. She gave him like a heads up call and told, if I'm not mistaken, like told him, dip your phone and get rid of your dude. It was crazy. It's hard to believe like you're talking about an attorney. Like, again, it's hard to believe like, yo, this is an attorney that we're talking about. Let's keep it going. Defendant number 30. Defendant accepted a plea agreement is possession of firearm by a convicted felon. Got you. The rest of these ones, oh my goodness, this is all the same attorney. Theft by taking. Defendant was severed because the lawyer was arrested. Theft by taking. Attempted deletion. Attempted deletion. I'm assuming that means that's her name. Thank you. Her name was Nicole Fagan. If you look her up and YSL Trial, it is bonkers. You're gonna be like, what in the world are we dealing with? That I'm surprised that one slid away. 30 was Sledge. Possession of firearm. Yeah, that was him. That was him. You're right. Kind of wish his name was on here. Okay, let's keep this going. Possession of a firearm by first offender probationer. Really? Possession of firearm by first offender probationer. Possession of firearm during the commission of a felony. Possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. This is crazy. Participation in criminal street gang activity. Participation in criminal street gang activity. They like their gun, boy. Let me tell you, they believe in their guns. All right. So let me see. This one had an asterisk next to it because there were multiple offenders, right? Wherever it was. It was up here. Sorry about that. I mean, Quay, my goodness, my guy. Okay. Where's the little multiple offenders tag? Oh, there it is right there. Sorry. So number 28 had multiple offenders. So it's more than one person that was participating in the carjacking. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, let's keep this going. Wow. Number 40. One defendant was severed. One defendant could not obtain a lawyer, and one was severed because of mental health. Wow. Number 40. And that's attempted murder. So 3 people were on this. However, those 3 people were severed for various reasons. They don't even say why this one was severed, but one couldn't obtain a lawyer, the other one had mental health issues. And I think we've seen that gentleman that kinda, he was having, like, a mental breakdown sitting in the courtroom. Number 41, defendant severed from the case because of mental health, of course, again here, possession of a weapon by incarcerated individual. He had like a, if I'm not mistaken, he had like a shank. He had him a little slice in the courtroom. I mean, in jail. Okay. Wait, this is a very interesting point that KSQ Freeze mentions. What's funny to me is that they have all these gun charges, but have none of the guns, none of the law. I'm sorry, the ninth of the law is possession. Oh, 9/10 of the law is possession. I got you. I agree. Like, where's the weaponry? Where is the weaponry? Very keen observation. Okay, where are we at? Where are we at? Number 41. We already said that. No, yeah, mental health. And that was possession of a weapon by an incarcerated individual. Then we go back to 42. Defendant was severed from the case, could not obtain a lawyer, mental health. And what happened? He was participating in street gang activities. Street gang activities. Wild. 43. Severed from the case, couldn't obtain a lawyer, mental health, street gang activities. I don't see this one. To me, 42 and 43 should be the same ones, but I know maybe they could even put A and B over here, but it could just be cleaner. And here we go again, 44 through 46. Our boy Quay is back, and actually he had a co-defendant, or someone else was also charged with him, but that person, one defendant, was severed from the case. They don't say who it was or why they were severed, but there were 2 people. And what were they being charged with? They were being charged with possession of a weapon by incarcerated individual. I think he had like a shank in jail. Possession of telecommunication device by incarcerated individual. He had a phone, and participation in street gang activities. I have no idea how he had a phone in jail. It's probably multiple incidences for sure. 42, 43 are the same individuals. Right. So I was just saying, like, could it this been just written neater? Like, does it need to be 42, 43, or could it just been 42 by adding A and B at the end of this one, since it's the exact same charge? That's all I'm saying. They're back, but they're back, but they weren't talking about anything. They were I'll pull it up real quick. We're almost done with this. I got like 8 more charges. Maybe 9. 9 more charges, but let me just real quick, let me pull it up, make sure it's ready. But yeah, they weren't talking about anything, so it was a study hall court. I thought so that's why we didn't do it. That's why we jumped over here. Yeah, they're literally still horse trading. So I just didn't want to I wanted to talk about this morning, and my intention was to talk about it, but then I got a little distracted. My ADHD started kicking in, you know what I'm saying? And then we had the craziness with the court and jury, and then those wonderful videos by We Watch YouTube, and lo and behold, now we're here. So let's finish this up, and then we'll jump back over there for sure, though. Okay, as I all right. Where we at? 48. Defendant severed from because his lawyer was arrested, severed from the case because could not obtain a lawyer. Then we got Quay is still here, as well as Mr. Stillwell, also known as Shannon Jackson, also known as SB. And that is um the deletion of Shamel drinks. Wow. It's the attempt against, oh, it's against, okay. So I might have skipped one. I feel like I skipped one. Sorry about that. Thank you, Monica. Monica, you need to just jump on. That's what you need to do. And bring Rome King and we can just do this. Um, okay, so because the woman that we heard the testimony from this morning, because she got shot in the drive-by, she was considered a victim. So that's what this charge is against. Perfect. That makes excellent sense. Thank you so much. Yeah, the guy that was acting, I forgot his name. This was early on. Somebody's gonna Rod, don't even worry about it. Somebody's gonna post it. It was a gentleman. He was really coming unglued um in court. Not that woman, Monica. You know how to fix it, Monica. You just jump on. I'm gonna drop the link so you can stop parenting me over here. And I'm just gonna put it right there. Just letting you know, Monica. Just letting you know. All right, let's finish this up. Participation. I'm sorry, 47. One defendant was severed because his lawyer was arrested, accepted a plea agreement, conspiracy to commit crime. Okay. 48. Again, lawyer was arrested, accepted a plea agreement, participation in street gang activity. 49. Defendant severed because of his lawyer was arrested. One couldn't obtain a lawyer. Then we got Quay and Jackson still here. That's the deletion of Shamel drinks. Then we keep going. Lawyer arrested, couldn't obtain a lawyer. We got Quay again and Stillwell, street gang activity. Man, y'all, that's why Matthew's beard is so white. He trying to figure out what to do with this guy. This dude, he over here getting NBA stats. Come on, my guy. That's not the goal. So let's get it. 51. We're almost done. 51. A lawyer was arrested, couldn't obtain. Then we got Quay and Stillwell, participation in street gang activities. Then we got Stillwell all by himself, possession of a firearm by convicted felon, previously convicted of felony involving the use of possession of a firearm. Wow. They're like, look, you ain't learned your lesson, my guy. So we got to do this again. We got to run this back. Okay, so see 40, 52, and 53. They're the exact same charges. And like, why can't they just be like lumped together and this just be singular? Maybe it's a separate event. That's probably what y'all gonna tell me. So anyway, Quay got the same thing. Possession of a firearm by convicted felon, previously convicted of felony, involved the use of or possession of a firearm. That is wild. 54. Again, lawyer was arrested, could not obtain. We got Quay and we got Stillwell. Possession of a firearm during commission of a felony. Okay, commission of a felony. 55. Prosecutors dropped charges on one defendant who is currently serving life sentence for murder. One defendant accepted plea agreement, conspiracy to commit crime. I'm wondering if this is probably Mr. Ryan because we haven't seen his name anywhere else. And if that be the case, why is he here? It just seems interesting. All right, keep it going. And we are we are done. This is the last one. Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug, aka Slime, participation in street gang activities. So really, he's only being taxed with 2 charges right here: attempt to violate RICO, and then King Slime, whatever. I've heard it. I heard his name: Slime, King Slime, and Young Thug, and of course Jeffrey Williams. And 56. That's it. Wow. After all of that, that's all you got him on. Participation in street gang activity, which again could be a lot of things. Wow. That is pretty wild. But okay. So these are the charges. I did drop that link in the chat for you. If you want to look at it while we're doing intergalactic horse trading over here, we're going to bring that back in, see what they're talking about. Not much. All right, let's go.
Specifically asked where Mr. Williams is. Ms. Morton says to Mr. Arnold, "Hey, Goldilocks." Mr. Arnold pinpoint.
You
Yeah,
went through that so quickly.
on gold, but
Hold
she
on a
references
second.
him.
What's up, homie? How are
And
you?
I'm fine.
course,
Give
Mr.
me one moment. I gotta do something.
speak to the idea of we don't know who it is. Mr. Arnold asked Mr. Bradford, who is that? And Mr. Bradford, I think, says Bushi. And
Bushi.
as they are apprising one another of what is happening outside the jail, as they're apprising Mr. Arnold of what's happening outside the jail, we believe that this whole conversation is a conversation between co-conspirators serving to
They believe.
According to information and belief.
inform each other of the current status of the
That's some serious
conspiracy,
stuff. You went
which
through that list so
therefore
fast.
furthers
Oh, I'm
the
sorry.
You went through the list
conspiracy
faster than
itself.
they go
It
through
mainly serves to
one piece of evidence
maintain a certain level of
in the
I'm trying. Look,
trial.
I'm trying to be
among
efficient.
them.
I'm trying to be efficient
And
for the people.
each one of the
I'm trying not to
people who
wander
are
lyrically, like
taking
Love is
part
doing
in
right
the
here.
conversation.
She sound like she wandering. Like look what JG said real quick. And I thought this was interesting. He says, look, I usually listen at faster speed to get caught up, but today I listen at normal speed, and Love sounds she sounded like she got a little bit of extra Grey Goose. She had an extra shot or two.
You know what I think though? I think that she tries to be more cautious with what she's saying because she knows that she's just gonna get caught up right now. She's not in the days of Glanville, so she's all messed up. So look,
Okay,
this is what I did.
So
I printed them out, put them inside a binder, so I
can't stand y'all. Y'all do me a favor. Type Mo in the chat. Mo, I can't stand you. I can't. I'm glad I'm sitting down because I cannot stand you.
How I'm supposed to be able to
Why
follow this
why are you
if
so
I can't?
efficient? Why are you over here printing and getting? Can you show me that? Hold on. Hold on. Let's bring this in. Can you show this girl that went and got it spiral bound?
Yeah,
It went over to Kinko's getting it spiral bound. What is going on with you?
Yeah, I definitely because I
You
needed to
said that
be able
before
to
one
follow
time.
it. Yeah, I had to follow it, so I
You
had to
said
go
that.
and get them.
Hey,
But
I ain't
check
mad
this
at you.
out.
Okay, go ahead.
So
All right, break it down
this
to
is
us.
what we learned. So count one is the RICO charge, and it's attached to all the overt acts.
Mhm.
So that's where those are at. So the 100 and whatever number they are, let me see, get the numbers right. Those is just to, I guess, cover the part that says in furtherance of the gang or
In furtherance
how
of the
they
gang, yeah.
became, you know, how they became the gang or whatever. So those are all of those, and I have only 182 acts that are
Are
in
they in your
there.
binder? Do you need some
Yeah, they're
sticky
in the
notes?
binder. Yeah, that's what
Do we need to
I
take up a
downloaded
collection?
it.
Do we need to take
I
up a collection and get you some stickies and some tabs and stuff?
So interesting enough, I did in the beginning they list all of their names. So I did color code them to figure out who was on trial and who took a plea and testified. I put
This
them in
girl,
another
my
color.
my girl says she done color coded them. Y'all, please stop. Mo, you did not color code these.
Yes, this is serious.
I cannot with you. I'm
This
telling you
is
right now.
serious.
I don't know what you do. I'm so about done with you.
This is serious.
I
These
love it.
people are crazy.
Okay, so all right, so let me make sure I get it right. So count one, the Conspiracy to Violate the Racketeering Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act. You said there's 168 or however many
184. 82.
actions, 82
182 acts.
that brought that about. Okay, that makes sense. So, and that would include the Lil Wayne bus shooting, the shooting up the trap house, and homie Quan's dad's barbershop. All that stuff would be acts that were part of the RICO charge. Is that fair? Is that
So
right?
maybe that's where the guy, Little Rod stuff might be in here because he was already convicted of it.
Mhm.
So when you got the counts, right, these are things that are open that someone needs to be convicted on. So when you go to 2, 3, 4, 5, these are not previously litigated things, acts that came to or that anybody was charged with that went to trial and got fully adjudicated. So the difference between these other acts that are under one is that they probably were already convicted of it, or it's a long. So imagine if you're trying to figure out if people are part of a gang, right?
Right.
They start getting arrested, you then convict them of the crime, and you've satisfied that crime, right? And
Mhm.
then a couple of years from that, you want to say, well, listen, all of this happened in concert with other things. So you would then come in and get your count one and say, hey, they've been doing this. I got this crime. Little Rod went over here and engaged in this activity, this
Voila.
shootout, and it resulted in the takedown of this person's, right?
Mhm.
So you've got Little Rod for it, but you don't got the people that influence Little Rod to do the activity. So you would come back and then have this RICO so that you can incorporate the rest of the people in the thing that you found him guilty of. Because why was he there? Why was
So
he, we don't
so
know the
down here,
story.
yeah, so down here, wherever he is,
Um,
right here. So 55. So this is, I think, Mr. Ryan, Little Rod. Prosecutors dropped charges to the defendant who is currently serving sentence on murder. One defendant accepted a plea agreement and has conspiracy to commit a murder. This is the only place I've seen his name. I'm sorry,
okay,
only place I
well,
saw what would have been him. So you're
what
saying that
what's what's his other name? What's his real name?
Ron
Over here. He only has
Rodriguez,
one count on this
yep,
indictment, which is the RICO.
right, because the other one was already dropped because he was already in jail.
Well, wait a
So
minute.
there,
Which one is that? 50? Well, there's
55.
no 50. Oh, there is a 55.
Mm-hmm. Right,
All
right at
right. So
55.
55, the other, well, no, 55 is two separate people. You said 55, right?
Yeah, one person pled out, the other one is in jail.
Okay. So, yeah. So the names of those two people, that's the Obama. The Obama's the one that pled guilty.
Obama, what the world?
And then the
Wait,
other
who's
one's name was
Obama?
like Polo. I don't know. They showed his face the other day.
YSL Obama? Y'all
Well,
don't start the rumor.
it's only fitting. Like, why wouldn't you? I mean,
It's a
why wouldn't you
president.
have it?
Yeah, so I can call
There was
myself Y.
other Obamas. There was Osama.
No,
There was other
there's
ones.
only one Obama. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to even make it venerate him,
All
but let's
right,
just be honest. There's only
I
one
won't
Obama.
even.
Okay, there's only one person. I mean, that's almost you.
But you know what's
She
interesting?
said Osama.
This is for the elimination. You guys say unaliving. I can't do unaliving.
Okay.
Of someone
Ox-
named
Oxygen
Harold
habit.
Clement.
I don't know who that
Harold
is.
Clement. So again, each of these are different people.
Got you.
Or so it could be, so it's a count based on an activity. Like our guy Huey, who we would have
Ooh,
thought your dude made him, he made him seem like a saint. He ain't never been in trouble. He
right.
doesn't have any he
Well,
was over here.
he'd have made up for all the never.
He
He'd
just
have made
never got caught. So that's why
facts.
all of his charges are sitting up in here looking all nice and pretty.
I mean, he got a
Like this
whole
one is
page. What color is he in your color coded book, Monica?
they're all purple that are up here. So we don't do green, but they're all purple that is up here. And then the people that are they're pink.
Why are you anti-green?
I don't want to be green right now. But green is one of my favorites. One of my favorite colors. I'm a Tinkerbell green type. They don't have like
Interesting.
Tinkerbell green. But
Interesting.
who's this
I'm
person
gonna
right
send you
here? All
some
right.
yellow. I'm gonna send you some yellow highlighters.
No, I don't want yellow highlighters. That just like sounds that's so original. Like that's just for regular stuff you would do it in yellow. Cause it's so like it's like if you see Love's Name, then you just want to put it in yellow and just be like, oh, that's just a regular stuff.
I got you. No, Laura,
But
court is still going on, but they're just literally arguing about motions and such. So what we did, Laura, if you just pop it in, we're going over the indictment of these men, what they're being charged with, and then Monica has come on and she's giving us a fuller, spreading it out a little bit
so
on
like
what these actual charges are. Go ahead.
in that count 5, right? It's
Mhm.
aggravated
Count
assault
5.
with the deadly weapon, right? But then
Facts.
count 6 is possession. So you're always going to get hit with you did something with it, but then I'm going to charge you for having the weapon. You understand? So it's all in pieces. You want it to be
Mm.
one big cake. You have to think about all of this is ingredients. You need to have all the different ingredients in order to make the crime. So it's not just that you use the weapon or you possess, it's you use the weapon, you possess the weapon without, having lawfully having it. Some of these people have possession of a weapon by a felon,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they once upon a time could have possessed the weapon. That's what I found interesting about our dude. What was his name?
Sledge.
Sledge. When he was like, "Yeah, I was walking around with guns until y'all took them away from me."
Right. That's hilarious. Okay. No, I think, okay. What I'm looking at right here.
Which one?
Okay. Let me give you an example of what
Find me a
I'm,
number.
okay. So a number, an example. Okay. 14 and 15. Are those two separate incidences for Mr. Quay?
So let me look into the details. They both are armed robbery.
Mm-hmm.
They're both on the same day. One is for the cell phone from this guy and then the cell phone from this girl. So that's what makes them different.
Okay. I don't know. To me, it just seems like it would be more efficient to just say, to have him with 2 counts of armed robbery side by side rather than it needing. And again, this is just, yeah, I'm just
It is 2 counts side by side. The
right. But I'm saying
14
like
and 15.
it could be just like 14 and then you got count 1, count 2 of the exact same thing. Like, what's
No,
the
the
benefit of it
count.
being, what's the purpose of it being a 14 and 15?
Okay, so the count is like you keeping count of what a person does. So this is like 1, 2, 3. So this is number 14. Number 14 is the armed robbery of person. It's a guy. Number 15 is the armed robbery same day, but it's a girl. So you got 2 different victims, so you have to have 2 different numbers. So
Okay.
everything's the same up until you get to the victim. So imagine you're walking down the street, you and your friend with your iPhone out, and here comes Huey, and he robs both of your iPhone, right? So I'm a victim. I got a right to have my own charge, the count number 14, and you got a right to have count number 15 because it happened to you too. We're two individuals,
Huh. Okay. And look at
and
this.
that.
Now look at this.
Go ahead.
Breaking news on Trump's RICO. Judge dismissed 2 charges against Trump with 8 left.
Which Rico? The one in New York?
I'm thinking it's one here in Georgia, but I might be
Oh.
wrong. I'm literally
What did they
just
charge
reading.
him with in New York? I don't even know because I just
Yeah.
thought it was
You
such
up
a
there in New
waste
York?
of money. I know, but I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not down with that.
Okay. Let's stay focused. Let's stay because you're teaching. So this is like study hall court for pre-K study hall court. All right.
Pre-K study.
No, I love it. No, thank you for helping us out, Mo. Really, for real. I'm picking on you
Let's-
about the book, and I am going to
let's-
talk about you pretty bad later on. But
About what?
about the book, I'm going to talk about you.
You
But I'm
still
letting
want
you
me to
know
have
ahead of,
books up there?
I'm letting you know. I'm letting you know that I'm going to talk about you, though. I'm just giving you a heads
What
up.
did I put this in a? I want to be able to keep it, and plus,
It's
I'll
okay.
be in the.
No, stay you. Don't be you. because you've
I be
given
in
us
the
knowledge.
office. I can't be like,
I'm gonna
I
talk
gotta be
about you
like,
though, but I no, be you, be you. Don't change. Print the things off in binders, and I'll send you a hole puncher, and I'll send you a laminator. Okay,
I got
don't
all of
change.
that stuff.
Don't change who you are. I'm still gonna talk about you.
Got it.
It's all love though. It's love, but I'm gonna talk about you. Okay, so all right, what's the next one you want me to look at?
I don't know. You picked a
Okay.
number. Like we're just randomly going through this.
What about the guy with the mental health? Can you tell? Do you know his name?
The mental health guy. What was
That
his?
was like
Give me
chart
one of his
40.
numbers.
40.
I just I don't know who he was, but he really went in there talking to himself
He was
he
wilding
made them
out.
more nervous. He got up out of there. But that's what I would do too.
Uh,
You get something like this on you, I'm gonna talk to myself too. I'm gonna be like,
you know what? I'm gonna
man.
start printing stuff off and putting them in binders and highlighting and all. Oh, never mind. I told you I'm gonna talk about you.
Listen, it's not like I put little stickies on there. See, they got the little stickies, so I didn't have to do like because I might need to move it around the way this case goes. So I don't want to be writing.
You are too much, man.
I don't want to be writing all over the stuff. But you know what I found funnier too is trying to figure out who's the unindicted co-conspirators, because it's obvious that Woody was a unindicted co-conspirator. But you know why? He was out. He had none of these charges are against him. Like all of these counts, there's nothing here that's against him. He did all his time. The last place that they could have gotten him was when he was sitting there in that other jail and they went up there to visit with him. They had nothing else to hold over his head. Yeah.
Right. In Fayetteville. Okay.
And he said when he came home, he stayed home.
Right.
According to one of his interviews. So he stayed in the house. But it sounds like it sounds like somebody told them, yo, this is coming. y'all need to cut this out.
I'm trying to see. I see some good conversation going on in there. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. If you're just jumping in, Monica and I are going over. Oh, you know what? I put them away. Monica and I are going over the indictments that the men in the YSL trial are actually facing. So we went through. Now apparently Monica said I was bad because I sped run through all of the indictments, reading the indictments. Apparently I was supposed to color code and laminate and print everything, but I didn't get the memo. So I'm gonna get a ding off the rubric. So Monica, our professor Monica, has come in to break it down to us that we might know what's going on.
Sir, you were not prepared.
I was not, but you know what? Me and Joe, we love your color coded book. We're about it. We support you.
Yeah. Did you see what they did over there though? They put how many counts are on the indictment for each person.
Yeah, 19. Your nephew.
He's like at the top of the list.
I mean,
and you know what's so
only
weird?
2.
We haven't heard. Yeah, he's only got 2. We haven't even heard any of these things. Jeffrey's 2.
His is racketeering.
Well, it's number 1 and it's the last one.
In 55, right?
Yeah. So the last
participation
one,
in street gang activity.
Correct. But it's
It's like bookends.
So listen, this is for stuff that happened May 2018.
Okay, somebody said, hold on. Hold on real quick. It might be worth it. Somebody said that love is getting.
Oh, let's go see how love is getting it.
And I know we went through some of did we go through every category he's gonna be testifying to when we were talking about the hearsay?
I think that we did.
Okay. All right. So that part's taken care of. Smith, and that says interview. Is that like with police or with, who is that with?
We'll take it back like
Okay, let's
2 minutes before we got in here to see if we catch what.
okay, we're gonna go back. Let's go back 6 minutes.
A pulling apart of a iteration, the one right before it, that he took issue with. And the reason the
Take
state
it back a little
tendered
more.
states force
I hear the
is
word iteration, and
identifiable,
we just know it has to
identified.
deal with
All
the
right,
other
well,
guy.
that sounds like that might do it, but we'll circle back on a day when
Circling
Mr.
back.
Bernstein is here.
I'm gonna add that to the
Mr.
bingo
Howell's
board. Circling back.
request. And I assume there's gonna be somebody that says, that's able to testify that her kind of street name's Bushi.
Yes.
Bushi.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So that is that jail call. And then what about Mr. Arnold's plea agreement? Is there a similar kind of factual acknowledgements as there was with Mr. Sledge?
agreement.
There is with each defendant that pled guilty. And also, as I was over the time that the court broke from when the jury was here, I was going through my emails to try and do finish up the collection of correspondence at the time that I was speaking with Mr. Merchant, his attorney, to tell her he's coming up.
Okay.
And I found that same series of emails that I'll be sending to the court
Okay.
and to counsel for the defense regarding her requested changes,
Okay, well,
or he is, or however.
I'm gonna hope that we don't end up calling another attorney to the
I don't-
side.
Judge, I didn't want to call the first one.
I didn't really go that well for you ultimately. I don't
Wow.
She just dissed us.
Okay. All right, so in the event that the same or a similar thing ends up happening, I guess I'm gonna circle back, when we were talking about the admissibility of the factual acknowledgements plea agreement before, and I ruled that it was admitted, and Mr. Sharp said, okay, well, that may be, but there still may be some continuing witness issues. And I said, well, we'll deal with that later. I was thinking about that yesterday, and I also think that there are continuing witness issues with that.
I don't disagree with the continuing
Okay,
witness
so,
part.
basically that never got displayed to the jury because we only admitted it after the jury was gone and the witnesses were both off the stand. So really, that's not anything they'll ever see.
Actually, Judge, I tendered it while I think I tendered it in front of the jury, and at the time there was an objection,
Right.
and I believe that to the extent that the court admitted it, it can be published. It can go back.
Okay, well, I don't know who you would, I guess you don't necessarily need a witness to do that, but.
And since the court did bring that issue up, there was another matter regarding the factual acknowledgments that I wanted to bring to the court's attention.
Okay.
There was the testimony from the attorney regarding two portions of the final document, specifically as the only two portions that were taken issue with.
Right.
One being number 3, which the court remembers, but number 8
Right.
specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the argument will be made. There are certain arguments that are right for that, but the thing about number 8 that I wanted to bring to the court's attention is that number 8, and this is not something I felt was I didn't feel it was something to go back and forth with the witness on the stand about. He testified, his memory was, he didn't remember seeing it.
Right.
But number 8 was a distillation, a pulling apart of a iteration, the one right before it that he took issue with. And the reason the state tendered states 460 Yankee as well as 452 and 453 is that 452 contained the statement that 460 Yankee addressed, and in 460 Yankee, in as much as there were certain things that were not contested but clarified, but the personal knowledge part is a specific thing that wasn't denied, but that was implied. And I'm just saying that instead of having what the state did, what I know we did, and
Look at the judge's
when
face.
Mr. Wright says
Yeah,
he
what?
doesn't remember, that's
I didn't-
fine. But when we provided to him the document that had it pulled out, there was not, I don't know how he says he didn't see it, but there was not any indication from anyone that that was incorrect. That wasn't just taken out of the air. That
No,
was,
I know that it wasn't, but we have already talked about that. I know what the state, I know and understand how it is that the state got to and believed that given the comments he made, you all could say, well, okay, still whether he knew it was planned or not, he still knew it happened and that they were responsible. But it doesn't actually say that in the iteration that got changed. And so that might have been the state's understanding of it. But, I mean, it is what it is. And you didn't explore that with the witness anyway. So, I mean, at this point.
I mean, obviously that was a protracted examination that I did not want to make more protracted, but I do think that in as much as there is an attempt to convince the jury that essentially these are made up things that the
That
state
you just
put.
slipped it in.
Yes.
Well,
I
mean, Miss Love, then put somebody else on the stand. But I
No.
mean, you telling me this, I mean, it doesn't do any, I mean.
The reason that I was telling the court that was not to try and completely relitigate an issue, but as to the section that dealt with his response, not the whole response, not that it is 460, but I would ask if the court might consider reconsidering just us putting in that one part that he responded to, the way that he responded, and then the ultimate version, so that at least before the jury is where that came from, since there has been this continued effort to convince them that we make stuff up and we just, out of thin air.
Well, you're the one that decided to put him on the stand.
I don't regret that, or I don't think that that's the problem. That maybe, obviously minds can disagree. I don't think that that's the problem.
Okay, well, if it were as clear as somewhere in the earlier version was the statement, I personally know.
Let me see her face. Hold on. Let me switch so we can see her face.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry about that,
And
y'all.
then blog, videos, social media, and music when we flip the page.
Yes. So
All right,
I don't know what objection anybody would have, given that it is Mr. Lee who's on the stand, but the video itself is basically the blog video. We believe is definitely an overact. They are talking about the
What you about to say?
meaning of certain terms, slat. Um,
Yeah, I'm
if
there.
Mr. Lee
Let me pause it.
make,
It's just like, yeah, you could pause it,
yeah,
but it's her overt acts are blowing up in front of her face, right? She's up
Hmm.
here like, this guy is wiping his nose, right? And it turns out he did do that.
Right.
Um, but it's just like everyone's doing. I'm not doing that, but there seems to be a generation that's running around here wiping their nose at people
Yeah.
and stuff. It's just
But okay. Have you proven to? I'm not convinced that wiping your finger to your nose is a gang symbol or whatnot. You haven't proven that. You haven't proven, like, again, if I'm not mistaken, to get into the brass tacks, Adrian Love, if I'm not mistaken, she's in a sorority, and I'm pretty sure that they name each other or call each other by the letters of their sorority. And so, I mean, those are terms. I mean, you have colors, you have names that you only call each other, you have sound effects that you make
but they don't commit crimes.
that
That's
we
going to
know
be
of.
the
That we
positions
know
that
of. Okay,
right.
not a problem.
They
Not a problem. But
so what they're
wait.
saying.
Are you saying that nobody who's a Greek letter organization has ever committed a crime? Because a lot of these crimes that we're looking at are being imposed upon Jeffrey. Like, let me just jump over here real quick. A lot of these crimes are being imposed on Jeffrey. So I'm not saying, look, I'm not trying to say that every AKA or every alpha or whatever is a criminal, but I'm just saying, following this logic, it's not going to be hard for me to say that somebody who's a Q, like, what if Quay was a Q? It would not be hard using this logic to make Omega Psi Phi a gang following this logic. They got a whole frat house down there by Greenbrier Mall. They got a whole frat house down there, the whole nine.
I think they have proven though that these guys were a gang.
Okay.
I think that part they proved so far based on the information that we've seen, right? You get Woody come up here and tell you that I got into a skirmish with this guy, and me and the other guy went and shot up so and so's daddy's barbershop, right?
Mhm.
Um, he elicited another person, or the other person, solicited his participation. So the two of them went. They're trying to define gang as three when three or more are gathered.
In his name. I mean, then a gang. This is a gang.
If
I'm a
the
deacon.
church engaged in criminal activity, the criminal activity
I'm being
has to be the other part of it.
I know I'm being facetious, but I'm just
I
saying,
know,
like,
but no, there's
and
a
I got
lot
you.
of
And you're
people
correct. You're correct.
in the chat, right? And maybe not this chat, but I've been in a lot of chats, right?
For
And
sure.
you hear people just screaming out like they weren't. You don't never really hear people say they weren't a gang. It's like we're ignoring the fact that they were a gang. The question is, they say YSL is not a gang, right?
Right.
Maybe YSL the label, you have this guy come on now, Sledge, and he introduces you to the fact that yeah, there's YSL the label, and then there's YSL the gang.
Facts.
And we clearly belong to the gang. We didn't belong to the label. So imagine having an organization, and you have a person that breaks out of the organization and builds their own empire from there, right?
Mhm.
Just because they started there, they went and they became their own subsidiary, and to him, he became YSL the label. And he tried to, and from what we heard so far as testimony, he tried to incorporate some of the people he knew in his, he tried to, you know, I gave this some thought because they talk about money laundering. So he tried to launder them into his organization and hoping for the betterment. They didn't see the betterment until now that they're all sitting here at the table together involved in a RICO. You hear the regret come from the people who are testifying. No, they haven't proved YSL the label was a gang. I agree with you that YSL the label may not be a gang, but YSL that gang, it was a
It's a
gang.
gang. And
Right.
that's fine. And
And
I'm being facetious, and you are correct.
no
Not
one's
every
showing us
gathering,
where the label has engaged in anything illegal.
and
You,
that's what
you
I'm trying to
understand?
understand. And that's what I'm trying
Yeah.
to, and even in my opinion, the line between the gang label gang is very murky. And I don't see it as being as cut and dry, like, oh, I clock out and I put on my gang hat and now I'm ready to go do gang activity. But then when I'm done with that, I go and put my record label hat back on. I'm about to go do spit some bars. I don't see that as being very clear. And I think what and what I'm lacking is seeing that there is a true delineation where the people that are involved in YSL, the record label, are part of YSL the gang. Because I think we can agree that there, as you gave the example of somebody breaking away from a group, there could be a situation where one affiliates or calls themselves a part of XYZ, but they're not a part of it. They're just using that term. And I think Sledge did a good job of explaining that. So that's all I'm saying. So I'm not trying to
You know why Sledge did a good job of saying that? Because and this is just solely my opinion, so anyone can disagree with me respectfully. But I see him as someone who had the younger folks under his wing, right? He was dropping people off to do drive-bys, right? You
God,
understand? He was
yeah.
hanging out in the park where they were playing basketball, engaging in other activity, right? So he was always there doing the wrong. So imagine if you're the person that was doing things that brought the people down, right? And then
Mhm.
you see people break away from you and become something, something big. You made it. If you listen to Woody said, yo, they made it. They made me understand that this was real. Like, until they did it, we didn't think that that was something. It was just a dream. And
Mhm.
other people did that. So I think he came to terms at some point when he saw his damage. He created a lot of damage. Sledge was up there. He did a lot of damage. Even as a grown up sitting up
Yeah,
there now and saying, I transported them. He can't even say that with a straight face. Like,
you
I
couldn't.
transported them to the location. And then they got out and shot up the place. Well, who was really the leader of that gang? And is there a point in time when people got away from that and built something different? So here you have this young man, he turned it from young stoner life. You understand? He took
For sure.
whatever the slime was supposed to be and turned it into a stoner life. And if you listen to the young man who testified on his behalf at the bail hearing, or y'all call it bond hearing, he said it was successful life, right? So it has evolved into different things. So it may have started out that I hung around the same people, but I elevated this to another level. And I think that's what um Thug's intentions were, even when he looks back at his name and you hear him or through his attorney trying to explain what the thug means
Mhm.
today, opposed to what it meant a couple years ago when he was
For sure.
growing up in the environment. So this is just a case of when your past catches up to your beautiful future.
Nice. I like it.
And then
Okay.
you got to live in its presence.
Mm.
That's just that's
Do we
what this
do we
is.
snap? Is that something we're gonna put in the book?
We could put it in the book.
Okay,
But
go ahead
this
and
is
get it on page.
but that is exactly what it is. We see it every day. You even see it when life is cut short. you'll hear people say, yo, this person was on the road to doing this and having made all these changes and didn't get to see it go to fruition. That this is just part of it.
I got you.
Let me go turn that off. Hold on a second.
For sure, for sure. All right, let me bring Love back in. We're gonna see what she's talking about. Great conversation, Monica.
Camera and then puts his hand over his mouth and says, shh. So that video itself, we believe, constitutes an overt act in furtherance of this
Okay.
conspiracy.
And then y'all are familiar with the, whatever the social media and music is going to be. So if there are any issues,
Hesitate to say yes to that because music, I mean, I don't know exactly what the state is referring to. To the extent that a song by Mr. Lee has been identified or is listed as an overact, which I don't recall off the top of my head, but I guess I'd have to know what the music is. And then there's a 403 analysis. There's Baker, the Baker case that came out earlier this year, and of course, even though it's not our client's statements, it would be affecting our clients. So yes.
what's that site?
Judge, I don't think that Baker it applies
I
to
don't
this
know
set
that
of
I've
circumstances
looked
at
at
all.
So,
Well, Baker was
It's
Baker dealt with a music video, but it was really a 403 analysis
okay.
case. And I can get the site. We dealt with it earlier
Well,
in this
I'll
case.
just put in
But-
Baker music video in
2024.
403 and I bet in 2024.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to speak
But
on Little
again, I don't
Rod.
know specifically when they say music what we're
Say it
talking
again.
about. So
I said I want to speak about Little Rod for a
and-
minute.
Go ahead. All right, we
Because
listening.
he's like his life story, right? He starts out young. I read some articles. He was a missing person as a kid. You understand? He had a rough childhood, right?
Mhm.
For whatever reason. Then he met these group of people that he lived in the same neighborhood with, and they became his influence and his love or whatever it is. And he went out here and engaged in some activities that got him tied up for life, right?
Yeah.
He's in a position right now that he don't care about nothing.
Mm.
So in that stance, right, they're in court now, and he's still with the shenanigans. He was the one, a couple months ago when they found contraband on him, and sewn into his. It was sewn into his clothes, which means that somebody gave it, like somebody
Right.
sent those clothes in, or what have you. So he's the easier target. I'm not saying that he's engaging in all of this activity. I'm saying that he's the easy scapegoat for other people who do engage in the activity.
Got it. No, I
Because
agree.
he's got nothing. He to everybody, he's a write-off right now because he's got life in there. So they can do things through him vicariously to get,
Mhm.
it's sad. It's really sad. You don't know what part is him or not. People tried to steal his commissary. Why would they in jail try to steal his commissary? And what do they expect? People not to stand up for him? If I brought you into this world, right?
Right,
And
right.
then we're all stuck in this place together, and I see people picking on you because you're the younger person, I'm going to stand up and defend you too. We put you in this. So while they all behind bars now and stuff is going on, they'll always have to protect him. They'll always have to feel connected to him because they did this.
They're the reason he was
He's the
involved in the first
yeah.
place.
You
I got you.
understand? It's just
No, it makes sense.
it's sad. It's just sad.
No, that makes sense. And yeah, he was the one that had contraband sewn into his gear. Yeah, you're right.
Right. So even being I'm not going to say targeted. I'm going to say he'll be the focus of a lot of attention from law enforcement and so on, just to make sure. I just see him in a bad situation. And when they were bringing up the new overt acts that they wanted to add was whatever was going on inside the jail. I'm like, these people have to defend themselves once you've put them in jail.
Right.
You've put them, you said to us, I'm taking this element off of our streets, right? So now there's a different code inside of the jail, and you want it to have the same kind of regulations that you got out here in the real world. You put them in worse conditions than what they were living in out in the street as defined. They keep saying this is the worst jail ever, et
Right.
cetera, et cetera. And then you expect them to behave with some kind of civility.
That makes sense. I got you.
So it's just weird. It is extremely to me, he's a sad story. He's a sad story. I know they were talking about that he's gonna have they're doing an appeal. And I was just wondering, because the Supreme Court had passed down that if you commit a crime as a youth, right, under the age of 18, that you would only have up to 40 years incarcerated, right?
That's still a long time.
And then you'll be able to come back out in the street. Some places it's 25 years, but it depends on the state. I think Georgia, though, is 40 years. Is what they consider a life sentence. And he would be free to he would be free one day. But they keep saying it. It's like he's life in prison without parole, without
right.
the possibility of parole. And I think that that's unfair.
It's
But
interesting, to say the least. I mean,
if he's
go ahead,
found
go ahead.
guilty of this RICO, then he will unfortunately, he might be there for the rest of his life. And we don't know the circumstances behind. I don't know the story of what he did and why he, I don't know the circumstances between the story that got him there.
Right.
And maybe we'll hear about it in this trial as one of the overt acts. Well, they was trying to introduce it yesterday, but
They were, and they weren't allowed to. Yeah. Here, let's finish this up. Who knows? They might be done.
Is this Mr. Lee's music or somebody else's?
Mr. Lee.
Okay.
318 Georgia 431 is
Thank
the
you.
site for Baker. March 2024.
Okay. Do you know what music?
Yes, there was the song, and there was also this. I think that this particular issue was litigated and decided in an order that was filed by the previous trial judge on November 27, 2023.
Yeah, no,
Oh, so you're just asking about which?
you're not talking about that issue.
I am.
You
We
are.
did. No, I'm
You
going
are.
off my recollection.
baby.
We did litigate
Have a good day. I'll see you soon.
songs. We litigated a song by my client. We litigated some songs by Mr. Williams, and we litigated a song by Mr. Kendrick. I do not recall litigating the Wooney Lee song. Mr. Steele is affirming my recollection, but so we do need to address that at some point.
Okay.
I think under
What was the date of the order?
November the 20. November 27, 2023.
Okay.
So on page 40, and this is not necessarily specifically talking to a lyric, but the court ruled that the lyrics evidence referenced in Division 8 supra is admissible against defendants Lee and Kendrick as a party admission and all defendants as a co-conspirator admission. The court found it relevant to count 1 RICO conspiracy, Act 17 through 19, and count 2 murder, and that it is admissible to show actus reus mens rea and as proof of the existence and nature of the gang enterprise, the criminal nature of YSL, the connection of the defendants with one another as intrinsic evidence, and under OCGA 1615.3 and 1615.9.
Okay, but was this particular song included in section 8?
I'm making sure about the lyrics that we referenced in section 8, Your Honor, if the court would indulge us one moment.
Okay, no problem.
I'm not certain I understand, Debo.
It is referenced on page 35, number 13. Where are you from? Mooney Lee is Slime Life Shouty.
Slime
And
Life Shouty.
specifically, where you from? I'm from Believeland. Throw your setup, YSL. The ops hate the crew. We getting this paper and we ducking cases. Free Lil Shannon. He the one that had him running with the cannon.
Okay, looks like that was already litigated.
I'm going to suggest that we will go back to see to the video of court, because I mean, sometimes I don't know who writes the order sometimes. So I just want to make sure that it was actually litigated in court.
Okay, well, if it was set forth in a motion or brief or anything, whether it was talked about in court or not, if it was included in the order, the decision was made that covered that. I mean, the court, the predecessor judge included that in the order. And you are welcome to go look at what the transcript said, but I don't think it matters whether it was specifically talked about or not, as long as it was included in what the court was considering.
Okay, well,
Okay.
we're going to look at
All
that.
right.
Thank you.
All right, and then it's his own social media, and it's been sufficiently identified that, or has it been sufficiently identified that the defense knows what that means by social media?
Yes, Your Honor, I
Okay.
believe it has. Yes.
All right, that's fine. I mean,
And
I
actually,
didn't
they
know
are
that
in,
one, so.
most of them are listed in the indictment themselves
Okay.
as overacts. And I think there was a reference earlier to something being listed as an overact, that the state reference is an overact. I did not say it was listed. I just said it is, or
Okay.
constituted one.
All right. And then next we've got either Detective Viverito and or Mike Sprinkle with the social media post detailed there, and then Mr. Ryan's conviction, which y'all are going to brief me on various topics about. And Ms. Abbasi was here yesterday when we were talking about what kind of briefs and case law was owed, so she'll know what that was. And Miss Love, I know at the time when you gave us this, that's the more detailed exhibits, that was as far as you'd gotten at the time. And if you didn't continue on, that's fine, because I said, no, don't take so much time doing that. Just give us, a general list. But if you have done more,
We can do more. I can't say right now that we've done more.
if you haven't, no, I'd rather you focus on the other
Okay.
tasks I've given you. I just
Okay.
thought, hey, if it's sitting around, we'll take it. But
Okay.
if it hadn't been generated, don't worry about
Thank you.
it. Okay. All right, so then Colin Russell, any issue with the exhibits that are listed next to him? I wouldn't think so. Would y'all mind responding so I know to answer somebody?
No, ain't nobody gonna do it.
That's interesting.
Okay.
Tell me what it is.
No, I was reading the comment.
Okay, so, no, I was just moving down through the witness list. So we're on Colin Russell now. He's on page 9, number 36. Does anybody anticipate issues we need to litigate beforehand with regard to any of the exhibits that are gonna come in through him?
He's witness number 36 from the 99 list.
And I don't know whether you're thinking or whether you're just like, no.
I don't know. I'm feeling it's still 99. Does anybody have a copy of the witness list by any chance? I don't know if they published it or made it available. You think?
Okay.
You should
Does
get
everybody
one
good? Does
because
anybody
you
need a
have the
bathroom
rule
break? I
22.
assume y'all just tell me if you do, but
I need to find that.
Silence equals
look,
assent, I
let's look.
guess. All right, DeJuan Maynard on the next page, social media. Any issues on that? That's going to be his own social media.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Is there any issue? Everybody has all the body cam that might come in, right? Okay. Okay. Number 41, Officer Francis. Social media. Is that somebody else's social media then? At
That would be
point?
screenshots that the victim sent to
Okay.
Officer Francis.
All right.
Okay, according to New York Times, there's 75 witnesses have
Unless
testified
there's anything else on that page,
and
I'm turning to the next
105
page.
left. But that's New
Miss
York Times.
Stanley, there's a jail call listed. Are there gonna be any issues there?
Well, we just went through some of them.
Yeah.
We had but it would have been 106 because they added the attorney.
That is correct.
And they told us they was going to eliminate 5 of some other people that was just going to identify some
Okay.
So to the extent
some
Cumulative
content.
evidence. Yeah.
that particular
Yeah.
person, obviously we won't have an opportunity to question that person. That person's represented, that person's under indictment.
And do you mind telling me who it is?
Bender.
Okay.
My brother got a hard life.
I want to know what robbing somebody of a cell phone has to do with in
Digital
furtherance of the gang.
We're concerned, exactly.
I don't know.
Obviously is under this indictment.
You just you are pushing the gang.
So
I have no idea.
the issues that arise with respect to that concerns us.
Why is this mic not working?
All right.
Yeah, I might be incorrect, but I think we've already litigated that and sent the court the order. I'm checking with my team.
So he said the crimes I've heard are reactive.
Yeah, like an hour.
Oh, can we explore that?
It's really weird because I mean, it's only on page like 85. Warning, local storage cache is full. I mean, if you want to. I like that sweater. Pretty colors.
Oh, wow. Our fact checker is here.
Hang on. I don't know. My court reporter's ready. She was fixing something on my real time. Okay.
They got Sprint and T-Mobile custodians of records on here.
Are you ready now?
To me, that's too much.
Sprint and T-Mobile. You're looking at the list?
Yes.
They need to have them because they whoever owns the telephone line. So when they had a number, they need to run it. They have to get the information from either, from the major carriers.
Okay.
So
Okay.
in order to admit the information they get from them, they're going to need one of them to come and testify and say, hey, I was given this number, sent this number about a thing. I went and I pulled this up. I did this and I sent this, and this is what we found out. You can't just admit evidence without having it come in through a witness.
Okay.
November 16th, 2023 was the date the
Mm.
order was entered.
All right. Okay.
I'm gonna take apart this list tonight.
Yeah, have fun. Knock it out.
And Your Honor,
Yes.
just for full context, the last line of the order reads that the court grants the state's October 24, 2023 motion to introduce Gary Holloman's statement to defendant Mender's mother and defendant Mender in the three-way conversation the day after the robbery as residual hearsay evidence pursuant to 24-807. That's different than what, it's in the same call, but I heard Mr. Matthews reference something.
The residual hearsay issue I actually did look at again, and I came to the same conclusion. So you're talking about something different. Is right? You're talking about kind of, I guess, confrontation issues. Was that litigated?
So I don't know that there's, when we say
I wouldn't think
it's not a confrontation clause,
testimonial,
right? In any way.
Bruton issues. Okay, so
What was
not
Zachary's
confrontation issues
name?
'cause it's not testimonial.
What's his
but there
first
might be
name?
Bruton issues.
I don't
I
think,
don't know. I
Mark.
have to listen to the.
I don't think
He's
Bruton
Mark.
would exist in
No.
this
Oh,
type
okay.
of context.
I don't think either. So, okay, so what then?
I'm looking.
Because I see a Zachary listed here, right? Quinn, whatever. It's as a lay witness. How are you a lay witness
Well,
when you should be?
They're not. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
not testifying.
That's a good question. I don't know.
But when you have a right to cross-examine somebody is when they're giving some kind of a testimonial evidence against you. So even if they weren't on the stand, if this were a testimonial type statement, then you would have a right to
Quindarius Zachary.
cross-examine, and we would otherwise have a confrontation clause problem.
Yeah,
But
he's listed as a
you don't
lay
have a
witness.
right to cross-examine on something like this if it's not a testimonial type statement. So, okay, so maybe I'm just not following what it is that your argument is going to be. Okay, well, all right. Okay. Yep. Okay.
I did want to bring to the court's attention just that the relationship that was represented to the court by the prosecution of Mr. Holloman and Stanley and Mender, I think they indicated that this was supposed to be his nephew or something.
Right.
Don't believe it. That is in fact the relationship. It's not a nephew, and it was not a nephew, but that'll come out later too. Because that was part of I think the court.
I had noted that as yet another reason why it was okay for it to come in. But
so I think that Mr. Holloman, I think he references him as
uncle,
but even though there's not a blood
isn't he
relationship,
the brother of
so
Mr. Mender's mother, or
no, not brother.
or aunt? Or
Is he the uncle we looking for?
So
I
who
think
is he
that's
the brother of?
he's not a brother. He is a very close friend, and they call each other
Uncle,
brother.
which
Yes.
and sister and whatever. Okay, well they obviously. Don't they even refer in the call?
He
to
does. Yes,
his sister. Or
he refers.
I know
to,
that they call him uncle or unk or something, but I thought there was even a reference in the call to one of the people being his sister.
there are those types of references without listening again, but they are calling one another those types of family names,
Even though they're not blood relations.
correct.
Because they obviously feel that close to each other. And
Yes.
there are times when, somebody's a close family friend, but they're
Man.
considered an aunt or an uncle. So it apparently is that
Tell me what you got.
instead. So, okay.
It's just
Thank you,
like
Doug.
Your Honor,
they
Yes.
just making
on that
anybody
issue,
like
I joined
family
with
members.
Mr. Matthews, and I understand you ruled residual hearsay under 24-8-807, but that's supposed to be used very rarely.
I know.
And yes, it's not, I agree, it's not prudent, it's not testimonial. It can't be prudent because it's not testimonial. But this is an overt act, and it's therefore applies to everyone. So under 403, I know I'm going to ask for a limiting instruction if your ruling stands, but that's a very tough instruction when it's a overt act in a RICO case, because it's the same thing like the conviction by the jury of Mr. Ryan that we discussed yesterday. You're telling the jury you can use it against person one, but not against the other five. But it's an overt act that they can use on one person's verdict form, but not another. And I just don't, I would ask the court, since it's 807, which really has to be like prior sworn testimony that was cross-examined or a dying declaration, I would just ask the court to potentially reconsider or allow a limiting instruction that will help you craft, of course, if you approve it. But otherwise, I don't know why it comes in against Mr. Williams.
Okay, so those are two of the examples of types of evidence that come in under 807, but that's not the entire universe. So the fact that it isn't either of those two things isn't determinative or dispositive. And I don't know that a limiting instruction would be appropriate here. And you're welcome to craft one and present it, and I'll consider whether I think it's appropriate, but
I was always taught by your court and the courts in general that residual hearsay is really, and I'm just looking,
I know.
it says, if you don't mind, it says, it must be equivalent to cross-examined former testimony, statements under the belief of impending death, statements against interests, and statements of personal or family history, not just that people are related, and that these categories of hearsay have attributes of trustworthiness not possessed by the general run of hearsay statements that tip the balance in favor of introducing the information if the declarant is unavailable to testify. And that's another thing. And that's, by the way, I was reading out of Ash, ASH versus State, 312 Georgia 771. It's in division. It's in division 3B as in Barry, and that's 2021. But also, a person to that conversation is available to be cross-examined. I'm not talking about a person with a Fifth Amendment right, but there's another person who I believe is available to be subpoenaed and is on the state's witness list. If I'm wrong, I don't want to be wrong, but I believe that what I said is accurate, that the person is here in Atlanta and could be subpoenaed. So I would ask again.
And who is that?
Miss Mender, but if Mr. Matthews can help me with the name.
Who?
So we're referring to Giannis.
Okay.
That's who we're referring to.
Okay. So I mean, this is the witness that this would come in with.
So we have.
She don't
we do
know.
have Janice in.
She's witness number 45
Right.
on this. I mean, that's
right.
who
That's-
it's coming in through.
Right, that's what we have. That's literally the evidence that we have next to her. And of course, the court's aware that Mr. Holloman is deceased. And so it falls squarely under, we believe the court made the right ruling.
Mr. Holloman, who's that?
We believe all three requirements under the statute are met.
Okay. All right, then we come down to Sergeant Henderson with Mr. Huey's interview and social media.
The court see Officer Coleman Parker's form.
Yes, but I mean, all that says is testimony.
And as far as Anderson goes, I already reviewed everything. So
Okay. Belknap. Any, I mean, I guess if the search wasn't.
yes, with respect to Belknap on that, what's on Belknap for us, Judge, is items that.
He going over here like, why you got all these charges, boy?
Concerning the Chandler Durham, and
Okay.
our
Where's his mic?
particular information.
He won't turn it
that
on.
investigator testified to is not part of any overt acts. I don't believe Chandler Durham is on the witness list. I believe it's intrinsic. I would argue that information should be kept out.
Ms. Love?
Just to make sure that I understand
Well, you're the only one who can hear
my
him.
colleague's argument is that because Mr. Durham's name is not on the witness list and because this act is not listed as an overt act, it should be kept out. Is that the entirety of the argument? I just want to make sure before I respond.
Is that the argument?
Yeah.
You did not say confrontation clause, but if we're talking about items found at the home, this is items that investigator Belknap found in the search of Mr. Huey's apartment, and they ended up being, I guess, I don't know, allegedly from Chandler Durham. And is the issue who actually says they are from Chandler Durham, if it's not going to be Chandler Durham?
So I know that we had Chandler Durham on our witness list. We have pared things down. If it turns out that we ultimately left him off, and I'm making sure that we did, that's just one more person that we'll just
Add back in?
Yes, that would just add back in.
Okay, so, I mean, that would just be like hearsay if he says Chandler Durham said these were his. Okay.
And this is also a circumstance where, so just to respond to a part that I don't think is material to the objection, but Chandler Durham is part of one of the overt acts listed.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't think that's the real point. I think it's who, how can he say these are his?
We have to add it back.
All right,
Also,
so-
we have Defendant Williams' sort of implicit statement that they're his because he's admonishing, he's warning Huey if he doesn't take it back, somebody won't die. But that's just, so we,
Yeah. Well, I guess maybe, even though I appreciate your efforts to carry down your witness list, this is one witness you're going to need to add back, as the defense is otherwise going to
understand. Your Honor.
object. So, okay.
That circumstance may come up again.
All right, Officer Gordon, Phoenix video. All right. And then Bernie. Yeah, we've talked about him already. And then when we turn to the next page, page 12, this is one of those subsequent allegedly intrinsic acts. And I know I ruled on 2 and withheld ruling on 2. Yeah. And this is, I think, one of the ones that I ruled out. It is. So we can eliminate that witness if that's all they're testifying to, right? I don't know. I'm on page 12, witnesses number 51 and 52. No. Timothy Brown, an investigator of Viverito.
Oh, okay. Yes,
Hey, Monica,
Hang on.
Yes.
48 and 49 were Belknap
did
and
you
Flores.
didn't want to go over any more of this indictment, did
We
you?
must be looking at a different document then.
No, I think we good on it
Okay.
because
well, I don't know how that happened.
I did
Earlier
want to
or
say
later?
one thing though about
What is
the count 56.
Okay.
Oh, okay, then we'll talk about it at the end.
What is the last witness number y'all have on yours?
This is almost over. I think they're done in like 2 minutes.
Okay, so you know what? I remember you saying at some point I've added 2 witnesses, so it's different, and maybe y'all are just looking at a different one. But the 2 witnesses, obviously, we just maybe. So you have 48 as who?
48 is Deputy Timothy Brown.
Okay, and I have that as 51. So somewhere above that are 2 witnesses who, I don't know. Do you remember the 2 witnesses you added in? Okay, so how about this? Going up from Belknap, I've got Henderson, Kornbacher, Stanley, Coppage. Y'all just tell me when you, yes, okay. When you hear one that you don't have, let me know. The AT&T Custodian of Records, Greer, Francis, Soup, Jenkins, Maynard,
They get them
Hines,
all.
Russell, Latners, Viverito and Sprinkle, Lee, Hogan, Uden or Mitchell, Smith, Holmes, Latners, Underwood, Kilgore. Yeah. Oh, there's no number for it. No. Okay, Munson, Arnold, Dennis, Jenkins, Hill, Battle, Turner, Pitts, Bell, Latners, Smith, Sanders, LeDuc or LeDuc. What's on here is Zappa, that's really Appa. Reed, Vossen, Weitzel, Bernie, T-Mobile, Sprint, Verizon, Sprinkle, Morton. Okay, the 2. Okay,
Oh, yeah, we had to add those.
This
There
resolved.
was no stipulation, so we
Okay.
have to add those. Two.
okay. She just wanted to rub it in that y'all will not stipulate to the
Oh, never.
phone record being a phone record. Okay.
Knowing how petty she is, it doesn't
All
hit
right,
the
so anyway,
same
back
way.
to Timothy Brown and Viverito on that issue. We can strike those 2 witnesses because that evidence is not coming in.
Striking witnesses? Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, you had those listed in the indictment? Why does it say? So when I'm looking at that, you've got like the counts and the acts, right above those two people, you have counts 44 through 46, acts 169 and 170. Y'all had those in the indictment? How could you have done that?
So the indictment. Oh, okay. So, Judge, as it relates to- these are in the right.
Okay,
the
so this
indictment
is
came out
different than
Right,
the
no, this-
other
yes.
things that were subsequent entries.
and that's not me. So, Judge, does the awareness of similar acts having been
I mean, maybe.
Committed?
Maybe. Okay. So I'm sorry, those are obviously not out because those are indicted. And let me think about how similar that's pretty similar. I might revisit that ruling.
Thank you.
Not sure y'all made that argument at the time we were talking about it before. All right. What do you say we break for the day, y'all?
Okay.
I say we break for the day. All right, and do we have any word? Okay. All right, so we will reconvene at 9 tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be able to do jury and witnesses, and apparently we haven't heard anything yet.
Okay.
So just plan to do that, and if not, it'll be another day like this.
Yes,
Oh my
Your Honor.
gosh.
Okay, thank you all.
Well,
So maybe a
I know
juror
the court
sits.
usually does, but if the court hears something like after hours, does the court incline to
Hold on.
send out an email?
You still
It
gonna come in
is
at 9 o'clock,
something-
lady?
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
we're gonna be here and do something regardless, but I guess you would want to know for your witnesses.
Yes.
So yes, if we hear something
Thank you.
that is, we won't have a jury available tomorrow, then I will let y'all know
Thank you. Thank you.
by, I guess.
It doesn't
email.
matter what time, just before we have them
Okay,
come up.
well, at some point, Miss Persfield and I both turn off our computers and
I know that's
cell
right.
phones, so,
You should all do that.
you know, I don't think that we're gonna be finding out at midnight anyway. I think we'll be finding out at a reasonable hour, hopefully. And if it is that they're not available, then I will let y'all know so that you don't have witnesses here for no reason.
Thank you.
Okay. And if I even hear in the morning, you know,
That's
early
good.
enough, I'll let you know. Okay,
It doesn't matter what time, just, we're
All
here.
right.
Thank you.
thanks.
All right. I think it's over.
So what
Let
I
me-
was gonna say
Oh, give me a hot second.
about
Let me bring it back on.
that count 56.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that. Okay, go ahead. Count 56. That's the only
So
one
if
that Jeffrey's
I'm a
hit with.
juror, if I'm a juror and I'm listening to the evidence that came out, and one of the things that will stand out is that what's his name? Sledge said that they didn't want him to talk about Jeffrey wanted him to go to the precinct, right? To police station. That he instructed them to go to the police station and that he drove Woody to the police station, right?
Correct. I remember that.
I don't know why the DA wouldn't have wanted that to be stated,
Sure.
because it would have helped foster her charge that he was the gang leader and he told them what to do, and he even sent them in the lion's den like, hey, you go over there and take yourself into the police
I can see
station
that.
and whatever. You understand? So her not wanting him to say that immediately led me to say, because the guy is not the leader of this gang.
And I was
Period.
thinking along those same lines that it presented a problem because they had already given the examples that Young Thug was trying to get them out of the street life, out of the gang life, put them to work and so on and so forth. So they had something to do besides, gang banging and street life. And it would only foster like, oh, he's trying to take care of them and do the right thing by sending him to, send him to the police precinct before the police come looking for him. So I'm kind of along with you that it almost showed too much humanness to him. And of course, we know love does not want somebody to look like a human. So she wants him to look like a real big problem, like Quay.
Well, which Quay are we talking about right now? Because there's two Quays.
Well, no. We're talking about the MVP Quay. We talking about 19 charge Quay. This is the guy we talking about. Who's the guy that only has?
Here's
This guy
the
only has
thing,
6. Oh,
right?
this guy's an underachiever. He's an underachiever. He's an underachiever. This dude is lapping him. I mean, come on, let's tell the truth.
So
Let me
here's the
stop. Let me
thing.
stop.
You always are gonna remember as you're sitting in the jury box, right? You're gonna remember opening statements.
Mm-hmm.
Because your impression, even though they tell you this doesn't have anything to do with the nothing that the attorneys say is evidence, and it's just helping you to get a better idea of the story that's going to be presented to you, right?
For sure. Yep.
We got a picture that this guy was squeaky clean and he just got wrapped up in this. So now we got to decipher this 8-9 months later when we start to get introduced to crimes he may have committed.
Mm-hmm.
But it just you still have an image of him the whole time. He's sitting there between the father and the son, just like squeaky clean image of him. I would have never thought any of this. I tried not to read the counts until they was presented, but this whole one, this 56 is a big problem because so far throughout the case, I haven't seen indications where Thug as the leader of this enterprise had them do any of these things that are listed here.
Correct.
And I think that's a
my
big
point.
I think that's a big issue because you don't see any of the stuff, and you don't see in this charge purchasing a vehicle, like renting a vehicle
Mm-hmm.
for it says hijacking a vehicle,
Girl,
but it
that thing
doesn't
is
say
hilarious.
anything about it doesn't say anything about renting a vehicle to to commit a crime.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't say that. But in life you could what's that saying that they said? Tell me who you walk with, and I'll tell you who you are.
Show me your friends, and I'll show you who you are.
Yeah. So,
Or you can tell a
this,
person by the company they keep. There's a couple of idioms like
yeah.
that.
So, it's around this, but you can't. When people have grown up amongst each other,
Mm-hmm.
this is your neighbor. Like I see it so differently. Like I just see this as these are the people that like you don't get to choose your family. They didn't get to choose their zip code.
Fair.
And their zip code is under this indictment as I see it. This is just how they played.
No, I got you. I
And
love
that's
it.
it. Well, I'll see you on the next go round.
We're gonna do it
Manana.
again. We'll probably do it tomorrow. Hopefully.
Yeah,
Now,
but
if you run across something, y'all find out what happened with this juror or whatever. Y'all shoot me a message. Now,
it
y'all let me
sounds like
know.
somebody's ill.
That's what it sounds like to me. Yeah.
It sounds like somebody's ill. But that's another thing I was gonna say in this world. Uh, uh you're gonna hear all kind of rumors because the person that could really tell us the truth can't tell us the truth right now because of
Mm-hmm.
what has happened in the past. Like the one thing you don't want to get caught talking about is a juror
Mm-mm.
in
Leave them alone.
this situation.
Yeah.
So but it sounds like somebody got sick or somebody had to attend to something that may keep them from being able to perform their duties. and it was serious enough for the judge to shut down. There are also security concerns from overnight.
Oh, so somebody's Twitter. Oh, Kathy Runson. So according and here, let me pull this in.
Yeah, say
Shout out.
according to those
Yeah,
people over there.
let me pull it in. I don't want to show people's email because somebody just sent it to me. And so Kathy Russin is another one that we've been following. However, she explained, I can't find it without showing the email address. Okay, anyway, I'll just read it real quick. It's real simple. According to Fulton County Sheriff's Office, deputies, the change in seating appear to be due to a security concern. That was yesterday. But remember, Young Thug was moved to the front table. So now, however, defense attorneys argued that placing Williams at the front table gave the impression of him being the leader because of that, he's sitting with him being seated at the head table where Doug Weinstein had been seated. So that's why he moved back one.
It seems like the only person they moved was Little
They
Rod,
swapped Rod
and
and Huey.
no, Huey's back where he's at.
Oh no, you're right. I'm sorry. They swapped
He's
Little
back.
Rod and Weinstein.
Weinstein, correct. So they just swap.
Mhm.
They swap Yak. Um, mm, very interesting. Very interesting. But again, like I said, he's the youngest person, so he's
Yeah, he's gonna.
yeah, Aaron. Until they until authoritative news really puts that out, the little channels like us, we gotta be like we we gotta be
Mhm.
we gotta be a little bit more cautious on how we convey information because we still want a seat at the table.
Yeah, and I don't want it.
And
I don't want it to go around saying that we're the ones saying that XYZ happened, and it might not have been. Now it could have been, but I agree with you, and it's okay.
it's but
Yeah, I just got yours, Bora Bora. Thank you so much.
I just saw her, so that came from Fox
Okay,
News. But they're like a day late because the seats got changed yesterday.
facts. It's okay.
So why would they be telling the story? I just, it's smart to put the most sympathetic baby face up front.
Mm. Yeah,
No,
but that dude got the worst charge, the one worst charge. So
actually putting him up front makes the rest of them look bad if they could be the people that influenced him. Like,
yep.
so the other statement by the guy in the chat, right? When he was saying like these were all reactions, that's the problem. Half of the stuff they were engaged in was all a reaction, right? When you don't know how to solve conflict, when you don't have proper conflict resolution techniques, this is what'll happen. These were they were adulting while still being children. They didn't know how to navigate. Good
Good
point.
word.
They
Yeah.
don't know how to navigate conflict, period. And
Facts.
you got the same girlfriend as me. um what do you do? Like you go on a video and tell a person, hey, I heard you're looking for me, you're checking for me, I got you. Like it seemed that's why sitting there in court and watching him laugh at himself, how foolish. And look what it amounts to. I just wish when he made the comment about I'm laughing because it's stupid, right? It's
Right.
like
I wish you had said it
he I
right. I'm laughing
he
at
did
myself
say
how childish
something
I
like
was.
that, like, "I cannot believe that was me, like, that was me then, that's me now," but he didn't have any serious charges,
You talking about
and I
Sledge?
think yeah,
Yeah.
that was so weird, his whole like, even his attorney, but I felt like his attorney wanted I felt like his attorney, I'm sorry, just was doing like an advertisement, like, pick me. Sir, we saw your plea deal. you're, the, you're the you're the last attorney I'm hiring
Right.
to represent me, period. Unless I want to do the work myself and just use you as a front, because the guy would have had to read it. I would have never testified. He didn't even have an attorney to represent him.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm talking about right. He
Right.
didn't
You
even
should
have
have
an
it as yeah.
attorney to represent him. I was like, what's wrong with this guy? Anyway, I'm going.
All
I
right.
gotta go.
Y'all,
You
thank
have
you
a
so
good
much, everybody.
night.
You got it, friend. Thank you so
All
much.
right.
All right.
Bye.
Take care, friend. Night. All right. Thank you, Mo from Mo Justice. Now, before we leave, I got a bonus thing for you. Just pulled it up. I was gonna share it with Mo. All right. So just real quick, this is just popping up off of Twitter. Breaking: the judge presiding over President Trump's RICO case in Georgia has just dismissed multiple criminal counts against him and other defendants. Fonnie Willis's case is falling apart. Somebody's got to find that video of me saying that this was going to fall apart before this whole thing um, ever became went to trial. But continue. The judge ruled that Fonnie Willis had no standing to bring these charges related to allegedly filing of false documents in federal court. The entire case should be dismissed. It's lawfare, plain and simple. And that's via Reuters. So just something to look at. And this is Nick Soroto. I don't know who he is. But I'm sure there'll be other places this is showing up as well. Just something else to talk about, something else to look into when we're not talking about YSL. So I want to thank y'all so much for hanging out today. I appreciate it. This was a wild day, man. Lots of stuff went in a different direction, went left. A lot of stuff went left. If anybody was wondering what is the definition of the term goes left, this is it. So you go in one direction and out of the blue, everything changes. So that would have been today went left. Usually in like a really, really, really bad way. But 3-hour delay is not that big a deal when you really put it down in the brass tacks. But I want to thank everybody. Thank you, Monica, for tapping in. Thank you, each of you all, for hanging out with us today, adding your 2 cents to the chat, to the best super chat on the live chat on the planet. Thank you so very much. We will be back tomorrow at probably about 8:30, 8:45 ish, depends. But oh yeah, by the way, the playlist of songs, or the song that never ends, has dropped. So go check it out. Let me just drop you that link real quick before I get out of here and go check on the family. Oh my gosh, it's been a day. All right, so it is called The Trial That Never Ends. Let me grab this little link for y'all real quick. And I think y'all will like it. I think you share it. Let me see what some other people think about it. All right, so that's dropped. Wait, that's the song. Hold on, that's not the song. That's the play. That's not the playlist. Sorry about that. Do it like this. This is the song. This is the list. Let me get out of here. There you go. Everybody, thank y'all so much. It's been a lot of fun today. Let's do it again tomorrow. Lord willing, we'll be here around 8:45. If anything pops off, I'll let y'all know. Again, I'm still waiting for Courtney Kramer, but I don't think that she's gonna reach out. So if she does, it will be game on. It'll be only when she's actually on the line. She's actually on the phone. We've already talked on camera. Then I'll turn the camera on. So don't be surprised if it's nothing anytime soon. But thank y'all so much. I really appreciate it. Y'all are the best. I will see you all on tomorrow, Lord willing. So until then, everybody, grace and peace. Take care.